Brian showed it to me, and I said, "Okay, gotta have
Yeah.
that." I mean, we're in this for life. One gentleman telling me, if you're not in the lead, the view's always the same from the back.
If I tell people, I said, listen, you don't have to taste anything. This is first and foremost a relaxation tool. I have a personal goal to have my own cigar one day.
And I'm speaking to all the podcasters out there. Listen, we're going to let you in a little secret. People like to see growth. I've seen podcasts that came in full production and they failed. They want to see, hey, this person has an idea. There's somebody like me, right? Somebody relatable to them. And then watch them grow over time. They're now invested in that product.
100%.
Now they want to see
you
that
got to be
all the
yourself.
way.
Yeah, you got to be yourself.
Yes.
No matter
yes.
what.
Rick, welcome back.
Well, Mustafa, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
You know,
Where are we at? 2666 Hamburg Street, Schenectady, New York. Is that right?
that's where we're at. We have 2,600 square feet of great cigars, great people, a lot of action here all the time.
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
very grateful to be here. And thank you, everybody, for who's going to be joining us tonight.
Yes.
We thank you for your viewership.
Absolutely. Yes.
It all started back in the day when Mustafa said, "Hey, let's do a podcast." So here we are. Going to 2 years?
Going on 2 years next month.
So doesn't like a toddler at 2 years old, he starts getting into mischief. He starts getting into stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna start.
We're gonna get a
start
little
pushing the
mischief
needle.
going here at the castle.
We'll get into a little trouble.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But I'll tell you what, it's been a great year, and boy, just fantastic year.
Absolutely. Let's get started here. How was your month? So how was the month of December? Because there's a lot going on in December. You got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got all the holidays, a lot of family, a lot of fun at both places. And as far as business is concerned, I mean, I'm sure business was crazy in both places.
Yeah, I go from one to the other. It goes fast, boy. Because as I always kind of say, it's time management.
Right.
There's so many hours in the day. You got to get things done. At the jewelry store, you're waiting on people, filling orders. Because everything is time scheduled.
Right.
They have to have it for that day.
Yep.
So you got to make sure everything's good. But
Right.
that was my 36th Christmas behind the counter.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And when I walk into the store, I got to tell you, it feels almost like my first day. It seems like all those years really didn't happen.
Right.
Because I think what's happened over the years, we just progressed, and we grew with the business.
Right.
And we changed with the business, from the old days of going to buy in Vegas and New York and going to all the shows to 3D printing and manufacturing everything right in the store.
Right.
So I have total control, which for the consumer
Yes.
really cuts the cost and saves you a lot of money.
Right.
Because I'm as close as you're going to get to hands-on.
Right.
Do
Do you miss the road at all? Do you miss like being out there and floating around like a little bit, right?
As everybody knows, things have changed. The Vegas days I used to go out there with, let me tell you, they were fun. It was wild. But as long as I've been in the business, the business model changed. The older people who I used to deal with either sold out, passed on. Okay. So, that old model of shaking hands and all that stuff and going out to dinner and all the shows, it kind of doesn't happen much anymore. So I actually haven't been out there in 10 years at least. So we talked about it, maybe going this year, and then we thought about it a little more and said, we really don't need to.
Right.
So I can do everything right in the store.
Exactly.
Saves me a lot of running around, a lot of hassle. I got the greatest repair shop, design shop in the Tri-City area. I feel, you can come in, say I want this, we mock it up, you see it, it's all priced out. You know exactly what you're paying for.
Right.
Instead of walking into other places, you just see a piece of jewelry in the case, and it's X amount of money.
Right.
You don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
I can tell you everything about every single piece. So that's really moved on nice.
Right.
So it was busy, and then leaving there, and then coming to the castle.
Yes.
That's just the cherry on the top. But we were very busy here in December also.
Yes.
And
Yes.
with the people I have here, just I'm so grateful. They just did a great job. And so
I took some great pictures.
Yep.
You can check them out in the last video of the Cigars at Castle podcast at the very end. All the photos that we took here from the Castle Christmas. That was amazing. Having Santa here, there's just a whole lot of other things going on. You know, it was a really fun time. And for all the people that haven't been here yet to the Castle, please make a stop in. Tell them you heard about us from the Castle Cigar podcast. I mean, it's just such a great place to come here and just sit down, listen, talk, enjoy a cigar, relax. Just, you know, it has that family feel. And one of our old guests who was on here the night you weren't here, he's like, yeah,
Get your ass here if you're local. And if you're not local, make it your job to get here. The family is beautiful. The location is beautiful. It's a lounge here. You can come in here and not feel like a consumer. And that's the most beautiful thing about this place.
yes.
When you come in here, they treat you like family. I walked in, and I instantly felt that on the couch feeling, to where you know you could come in here and chill and be yourself.
That's it.
You don't have to put up a facade and be somebody that you aren't.
Right.
Like, I just seen about 4 or 5 people feet up, relaxing. Like, it's a family here.
Feet up, you know, on the couch, just hanging out with your friends feel, right?
yeah,
You know, but it's still a professional business here as well.
absolutely.
So you've kind of mastered that element of just having like, hey, this is still business, but you can feel welcome here.
Yeah, you know, I have a gentleman here tonight already. He said, you know, I just love the vibe here. And when you hear vibe, that's a good thing.
Yes, yes.
You know you're doing it right.
Right, absolutely.
And it's like I tell everybody that comes in here, I go, look, you're just making me better as you come in.
Yes,
You know.
yes.
Where else can you go? Have a great time, meet the greatest people, have a great smoke. We got a great selection. You
Right.
can't beat it.
Right. Now,
So
let's go ahead. Let's jump into it. Well, actually, first, I'll give you my updates for the month.
yes,
I had a couple voice acting roles that I took in December. We'll see if I end up getting those roles, but I did some auditions. One was for a medical company. I didn't sign an NDA for that one, so I can speak freely about that one. I did sign an NDA for 2 more that I can't speak about yet, but when they come out, you may hear my voice on there. I did a couple roles for, one is a cop show, so we'll see if I get into that. It's a little bit of fun, but I mean, that is where I've honestly found my happiness, is just the voice acting. It's so much fun to get behind a professional studio microphone in a booth, read a script, really bring someone's project to life and give them that feeling of, that's the voice I heard in my head. That's when I wrote this script, that's the voice I heard. Like that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm always looking to provide.
you know, from the first day I met you, you've grown into leaps and bounds, and that voice that you do have has a lot to it.
Thank
So
you.
I think you're
Thank
going to really supersede into something like that. And plus, you know, you're on it.
Yes.
You know, you're procured into a great businessman
Yes.
from the
Yes.
first time I met you.
Thank you.
Remember them
Thank you.
days? Remember the old days? Right? But, you know, that's what it's about here. We all grow together.
Yes.
You know, I
Yes.
love it.
Thank
you. This cigar has brought the greatest things. You know, we never would have met. We never would have had a podcast.
Right.
You know, and as we're growing, we're having more and more people on who want to
Yes.
be on the podcast. That is,
Exactly.
I mean,
Right. People reaching
that-
out saying, hey, how can I get on the podcast? Or can I get on the podcast? I'm like, 2
Yeah.
years ago, I didn't even know you heard of this.
no,
was
I
like,
was
oh.
never going to have all this stuff here, and you know, that wasn't going to happen. It was not going to happen. So that's teamwork.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
I love
yes.
teamwork. I love growth,
Absolutely.
and it's good.
Yeah. Yes.
So I know we jumped into some questions, but
Yes.
we got to talk about what you're smoking.
We got to talk about it, but
you know, because we do, you know, we got to tell you what we're smoking tonight,
yes. Yes.
and we'll tell you about a couple of new things that came in the shop. And
Yes.
So go ahead and let's get you
So-
set up with that.
What I have right now is the Pissed Off Christoph. This is by far one of my favorite cigars, and I say that not too often, but this one truly is. This was one of the cigars that kind of started it all for me. I want to say 3 years ago now, when I first really picked up my first cigar and started smoking regularly, this was my go-to, was the Pissed Off Christoph. I mean, it's a very nice, subtle, like peppery notes, but a little bit of like honey molasses kind of in the middle. And then it finishes off very sweet with still that pepper at the end. So that's what I really like about it. I looked into it a little bit to see what's inside of it. So right now we have a San Andreas wrapper, Indonesian binder, which I didn't even know until today that Indonesia had tobacco that they grew. But I was speaking to Brian more about it, and he's trying to school me again on
Yes.
all the different things that are out there. And Brian, again, one of the greatest that I know. I don't know a lot of people that can compete with him as far as cigar knowledge, just because he's been in that foxhole for 30 years.
Yeah, he's definitely
at least.
definitely the knowledge. of
Yes.
it, you know.
And then it finishes off. It has a Nicaraguan filler, so it's a really great. Your first start into a strong or full-bodied cigar, I honestly think should be a pissed off Christoph.
Okay.
Because it's just the way that you should start out and then start going more deep down the rabbit holes of like the crazy monkeys that we have in the humidor there and a lot of the other, good name brands that are a little bit more powerful for people. But this is a really good full-bodied cigar. And what do you got over there as a full-bodied cigar, Rick?
Well, I was around this 10 years prior before opening this Castle, and I ran across this cigar called the Punisher.
Yes.
And this is I've smoked them all. It's my palate.
Yes.
I've learned a lot about cigars and the palate. I've smoked all these. I was actually out of them for about 3 months. They were out of stock, and it was a very rough 3 months, let me tell you. So they finally came into stock,
Right.
and I bought 250 of them.
Wow.
Okay, right off the rip, because I can't explain it. I don't know what it is,
Right.
but this for me does it for me. And that's why listening to everybody who comes in to the Castle and they start smoking,
Right.
you kind of lead them into stuff, and we're gonna grow your palate.
Yes. Yes.
We're not just gonna sell you a cigar and say, here, try this.
Right.
Now try to, is it your first time? How long you been smoking?
Right.
Kind of get a little background before I put you into something.
Right. Right.
And it's important because I don't want people to waste their money.
Right.
You know,
Because
I want
they're
them to
not
have a
cheap
good
at the end of the day,
experience.
right?
No, they're, with the way prices are with them and everything, I don't want people to waste,
Right.
their time. Now the pissed off that you're smoking, that actually, I know put Glenn Case back on the map. Glenn Case is the owner of Christoph. We're hoping to have him here sometime next year.
Okay.
We're working on him.
All right. This year.
This year.
This year now.
Okay, I know,
We're here.
2025. Here we are. So we're working on having him here. He's a class act, but I know when that cigar came out, it really put him back on the map.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm glad that you're enjoying it and that you were able to put it out there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we'll keep you updated when that date's going to happen.
Absolutely. New wrapper he has on this now too, so go check it out from your local cigar shop. And if you're in this area, please come to Castle Cigars. Come buy a pissed off Christoph from us. Come buy any cigar.
Any cigar.
Any cigar that you like.
If you go to Cigars International and you look up the Punisher, and I want you to read the tutorial, okay? That says it all. What I do, all right? It's what I do.
That's it.
Oh. I mean, since we've opened up, we just had 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
And I sleep maybe 5-6 hours a night, and I'm on my way. Time management.
Yes.
Passion, love of the business, both businesses.
Right.
And then just the people. The people really keep me going.
Yes.
And there's so much to learn in this shop. It's amazing.
Yes. There's so many new things that you can learn here.
Yep.
Now,
one thing also I'll throw out.
yes. What do you got?
We implemented pipes. Okay, for the last couple of years, Andrew was like, we got to get pipes. And I was like, I don't know. And so finally, we pulled the trigger and we have them in.
Yes.
We start out with a nice selection. We got 7 blends. I'm actually going to probably try it Saturday.
Okay.
See what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because I have to learn about it if I'm going to teach somebody.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay. And you can mix and match different tobaccos, right, to kind of create your own smoke in a sense.
Yes, I'm learning as I'm going. So far, what I've learned is, every blend that you try, you have to have a different pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like season the bowl or?
Well, that bowl is already for that, so you're gonna have to get another pipe if you want to try another blend.
Okay.
Because you won't get the full of it.
Right.
But
Okay.
we're gonna teach everybody all about that stuff. How to clean them. Some people use screens in them. Some people don't use screens. It's more of it's definitely an art.
Yes.
And I've talked to a lot of pipe smokers already. They're like, Rick, this is great, man. You put it in here. And so we're very excited about that. That's what we implemented for 2025.
Awesome. Yes. Oh, I love that. And again, building your brand, always trying out something new.
Right.
Bringing in, I mean, that, what do you call that thing? The Butler?
Yeah.
That you got out there?
Right. I don't know if anybody's seen the Butler. This thing.
I'm taking a picture of it before we leave.
Yeah. What it is, it's a stand-up, and it has the cutter in it. It has a lighter, and you use it by the pedal. And
Like you're driving a car.
Yeah. Brian showed it to me, and I said, "Okay, gotta have that."
Yeah.
I mean, we're in this for life, so.
Oh, yeah.
You have to, and it really classed up the place too.
Yes.
And the guys and girls, they walk up to it and they go, "Wow!" They go, "Where'd you come up with that?" And I said, "Well, I had some help. Brian saw it. Because he's always trolling around. He's just that guy.
Yes.
And saw it, and that was it. I just had to have it. It really was a great addition to the shop. We moved a lot of things around. We have the juice bar going.
Yes. It is a beautiful area that you've set up back there now.
Yeah. Yep.
Really kind of making the most of the space that you do have here.
Yep. So that's been like 3 months already. We've been doing that. And then going into more 2025, we're gonna we'll have the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Okay, obviously I do that every year. Big crowd for the Super Bowl.
Big Super Bowl party.
I'll also be doing calls for weddings.
Okay.
I have this nice, beautiful tent that I'm going to be getting, and so if you're planning your wedding this year, the way I'm going to work it is you can come in, you can pick all the cigars you want. You can pay me before, you can pay me after the wedding, but we'll be right there at your wedding, controlling and cutting for all your people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No extra charge.
Perfect.
Okay. We're gonna go, and we're gonna take care of everybody, and it's a very special day for you, and so that's what we're gonna implement a lot more. Then also the golf tournaments in May.
Okay.
We'll be doing that in May. So that's going to be a big tournament. I have a lot of the state police involved this year. We're going to do a fundraiser actually for my nephew, who perished back in March of 2024. And so they were in the other night. There were 20 of them. And Dennis, who's a great guy, he goes, "Rick, why don't we just do the fundraiser with that and everything?" And I said, "Wow, thank you so much. That's fantastic." So it's going to be it's an emotional thing, but it's a great thing to always remember him.
Yes.
I think that's kind of as far as I got is to May right now.
Okay.
And I think in business you have to have that kind of plan. At least a quarter.
So the first quarter, really?
Yeah, quarter really. Second, third, and fourth. As we go, we'll plan it in.
Right.
But in business, you always have to have that kind of lead to go.
Right. So you're always thinking at least a quarter ahead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least a quarter.
Right. So
both businesses.
What? And that brings us into our first topic of the night. How do you prep for the year? What traps do you see people kind of put themselves in? Do you see people that overbook themselves for the year already in advance? So January, I'm going to do this in November and December, and I already have this ready to go. And then October comes around, and they're like, well, I have this opportunity, but I can't take it because I already dedicated myself to these lesser ones in November, December.
Yeah, it's it's a touchy thing.
Okay.
Sometimes something could happen in someone's family, a job change or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, I like doing quarters.
Right.
Also, I forgot to mention, end of this. Well, this is coming in February, but we're also going to be doing comedy nights.
Comedy night's coming back.
Comedy night's coming back.
All right.
End of January this month. I have 4 comedians coming.
Okay.
And then we'll be doing another one in February. So we'll tell you about.
Yes. Yes.
We usually do it the last Thursday of the month.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's gonna be.
There we go.
That's gonna be exciting.
Now we're cooking up. That's
Now
what I
we're-
like to hear.
yeah.
I loved the first comedy night. I know it was a
Yeah.
little, hit or miss there, but
Yeah.
I still think it was a great time. Just get everybody together, get a mic in someone's hands, let them tell a couple of jokes, loosen up the mood, and just get everybody sit back, enjoy a cigar, and listen to something just hilarious.
Yeah, I got the 4 coming, and the one is actually he was on Conan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
The gentleman who's running it, his name is Travis.
Hmm.
When I threw it out to him, he was like throwing spaghetti on the wall.
Yep.
He goes, "I'm all in. Let's go."
Done.
And it was done. He had the poster up and ready to go. And in 3 days, he had it to me. We have everything ready to go.
All right.
So,
Hey, shout out to Travis.
yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. You're a good man.
Thank you for bringing back comedy night because I miss
Yes.
comedy night.
You got to have fun here.
That's it. That's it.
Plus the darts we have here, the bowling machine, the cornhole outside. We always got action going on.
Yes.
Depending on
yes.
the time of the year.
Yeah. Springtime, summertime, it really kicks up.
Yep.
It goes. All right. So let's get into a little bit more of the business here. So if last year didn't go so well for you, where are some places that you look to improve immediately in someone's business?
Well, I think the first thing you got to really look at is your marketing.
Okay.
I think if you didn't do as well, I think you really need to reinvent yourself again into some marketing.
Okay.
As I was always taught, it's marketing, marketing, marketing.
Right.
Okay, how you market yourself. As you can see, what we did with Castles.
Yes.
With the logo. Royal Smokes for royal folks. People come in. I knight people.
Yes.
All right. I had a gentleman come in last night. He traveled in from out of town. He Googled, found the shop. I was open.
Yep.
He came in. I let him relax a little bit. Told him a little bit about the story. Then I walked up with the sword and he goes, "What's that?" Right? And I said, "Well,
Poor guy.
He goes, "What's going on here?" I said, "You're going to get knighted tonight." He goes, "Wow." He goes, "I've never been knighted before."
Okay.
And Sunday I knighted, I think, 4 other guys. And it's just, they just love it. I make you a part of it.
Right. You become part of the family here.
Right. And
Yes.
they'll go, "Wow, I go home now. I got to tell my wife I'm a knight. This is great." It's just fun.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And how I came up with that, it just hit me. And because the whole theme of Castle, how I had things going on.
Right.
And, now we got all the Castleware, and I got a lot of exciting things always happening. It's great.
Right.
That's marketing.
Yes. So
Okay.
look at your marketing. So try to improve or find some ways that you can market yourself a little bit better, right?
Right.
And it's not always through, hey, let me hire this marketing agency to push my stuff. It's, well, what are you doing inside the business to market yourself even more?
Right.
So it's kind of looking at your internals as well.
Right.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, if you're not listening to your customers, and I don't really like to call them customers.
Right.
They're more good acquaintances, and you build friendships.
Yes.
And I always ask them, I go, "Hey, is everything okay? What can I do?" I ask them
Right.
because they're vested into this place. So I want to hear the good and the bad, negatives, positives, whatever.
Right.
And because if I don't know, I can't change it.
Exactly.
So I have to know.
Yes.
And and then if I'm going to go do something, I'll throw it out to a couple of them and say, "Hey, what do you think?"
Right.
And get feedback. They'll say, "I don't know, Rick, about that one." Or they'll say, "Oh yeah, that's a great one." So that's it. It's that simple.
Right.
It's that simple.
Now, how much of this are you trying to kind of implement with some of the people that work here as well? I know you have Krista here now, who just jumped in. How did you kind of get her to really buy into the Castle, idea? Or was she just kind of all in from the beginning when you kind of like vetted her to like say, are you going to be a good fit for the Castle? Because she's done a phenomenal job over there at the juice bar.
Yeah, I had met her, and there was just something about her that I felt that she'd be a great fit. And she was looking for something, and I said, "Hey, look, I got this juice bar, and I really like to get it up and going. Why don't you come check it out?" Now I had threw it out to multiples,
Right.
and they're like, "Yeah, okay, I'll show up." They never showed up. She showed up that night. Okay, I showed her around. I said, between this and that and other things, and she loved it here. She loved it immediately, and in the 3 months that she's been doing it, she's really, just like all of us, we kind of sometimes are introverts, and we're in our shells, and we don't like to get out of our comfort zones. Well, I'm getting her out.
Yes.
And she loves it. She's growing. Her life is changing.
Right.
For the better.
Absolutely.
And she loves it here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right. Right.
It was an opportunity that she grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes, she just does a great job, period. And,
absolutely. Yes.
I implemented a whole new area over there.
Mm-hmm. Looks absolutely beautiful, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, moving the beautiful bar top that you have there over into the corner that was kind of, it was just out there a little bit. You had the bowling machine there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gesturing this way because the bowling machine is over here now.
It's over there.
So if you ever come into the castle, you're looking for the bowling machine. It's in the back room where we record the podcast.
Let's go.
Come on over. You will lose. I'm just going to let you know now. It's
yeah. We'll give it a run.
We'll give it a good run.
We'll give it a good run.
If you think you can beat Rick at the bowling
We
machine,
got darts too.
please come on in. If you think you can beat him at darts, please come on in. I would love to see him lose once because it's real hard to see. It doesn't happen often.
It is great.
Oh yeah.
So moving stuff around, and if you look at your business and you look at your square footage and say, how can I, every spot in your business should be creating some type of revenue.
Okay. Right.
So as I grew in 5 years, we switched this around, did this and that, and now I think I got it pretty good.
Right. Pretty locked up now. Yes.
You have to change it up. You have to try things.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't work, like I said, we just put the pipe section in.
Right.
We're going to give it a try.
Yeah.
And when I first mentioned it, a couple of the guys, they brought their pipes in right away. So they're ready to go.
They're prepped. They brought they brought their own pipes. Ready to go. Okay.
Yeah. And I was listening, but then I finally pulled the trigger and did it. Because I listened to them.
Right.
So.
Yes.
And it's a great section.
Hey, it looks really, really good. I love looking at it right now because it's under that TV, but it feels like it's kind of its own part of the store.
Right.
Right? Like you walk in, you're like, oh, okay, but then I'm looking for pipes. Oh, it's right over there. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's out. Nice display. It's well set up, well designed, well marketed. I like it.
It's beautiful.
I like it a lot. I'm looking forward to trying out a pipe one of these days.
We're gonna,
I'll let you get there. I'll let you get experience with it first, and then teach me how this works.
And then I also have one gentleman who's really, really progressing to it. Maybe we'll do a night where he'll kind of go over everything.
Right.
Like a couple of nights we did like cigar etiquette night.
Yes.
We had a guy come in who was 30 years in with the business and talked about cigar etiquette. So that worked out good too.
I think it'd be a great opportunity to bring that back again.
Yeah.
Have another one of those and have the next month be like a pipe night.
Yep.
Okay.
Pipe night. I do locker member night.
Yes.
I got that coming up also. I'm grateful. All my lockers are pretty much all rented out. I'm actually going to be getting a few more banks.
All right.
And that makes me feel. Now they're really a part of it. They you know that you're doing something right when they get a locker.
Yes.
They know that they want to. This is their place.
Yes.
So.
Yes. All right. So let's get into the questions coming from the audience. How does it feel being online now for 2 years? So your voice has been out there now for 2 years consistently over the last, every month we come on. How does it feel being online for that amount of time?
It's great. A lot of people will start things and they just, like when you make your resolution, New Year resolution.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden it just goes to the wayside. But with your expertise and your persistence, also made this successful.
Thank you.
That's huge. I think it's great. I never would have thought I'd be doing this. In my lifetime.
Yes.
I told you in the beginning, podcast. I don't know anything about this, and you brought it to the table. And we filled the table up, and here we are 2 years, and I thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us, and I hope that over the last couple of years you really got some good information.
Absolutely.
And, bringing the questions in so we can answer them.
Yes.
That we appreciate that.
Yes. Every single person who has viewed the video, liked the video, shared the video, thank you. From the
Thank
bottom
you.
of my heart,
Yep.
honestly. It's like, it just means so much to me that you would actually sit down and listen to what we have to say and actually, share that with your friends, share it with your family. Say, hey, did you hear this part? This might strike a chord with you. That we can be that kind of inspirational piece to kind of get people moving.
Absolutely.
Towards that, again, free market economy. That's what I'm aiming for.
Perfect.
Let's have as many small businesses as possible.
That's right.
All right. Thank you for that question, Mary, by the way, from the website. Up next, have you thought about how long you'll be doing this?
Well, as far as me and you are still ticking, we're doing this for.
That's it.
We're in.
We're locked in for
You know,
life.
It's like a lot of people, like when we, I ask them right away if I put you on.
Mm-hmm.
I go, I always have one question for you. Are you all in? You got to be all in if you want to be successful. If you want to have something work, it can go like this,
Right.
okay? But you have to stay with it
Yes.
and do it. So as far as I'm concerned, I hope everybody likes this because we're on
Yes.
for a long time. So we're not going to go anywhere, And and we also been bringing on guests.
Yes. Yes.
That's
yes.
huge. And
Yes.
in fact, we have another guest tonight that'll be coming on shortly.
Yes.
That we're very excited for.
Very excited.
I mean,
yes.
this is a treat. You don't really get this as much. She travels here a
Yes.
couple hours to get here, so that speaks miles
Yes.
right there for me.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
and yourself for doing such a great job.
Yes. Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. Next up, how can I get on the show? This is from BJ on Insta.
Right here. He's the guy. Throw him an email, right?
Yes.
Technology.
Send me an
saves
email.
emails.
Send me a message on Instagram. Send me, what information that you have, what you want to talk about, and why you think you'd be a good fit for the show to come on. I mean, we've had a lot of different walks of life in here. We've had people who clean shoes. We've had people who own coffee stores. We have people who own beauty salons, right?
Right.
We've had people who own a marketing company. We've had all kinds of walks of life in here. So, really kind of just tell me why you want to be on and tell me what you bring, what you offer.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
it. And then Rick and I will talk about it. If you're saying everything the right way and you're saying it, honestly, don't give me any corporate bullshit. Let me just start there.
Yeah, don't do
Don't
that.
chat GPT, send me a message. That's not going to fly. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to immediately notice it. I'm going to delete it. Tell me the realest part of your day. Tell me why you want to do this.
And being straightforward like that saves everybody a lot of time.
Yes. Yes.
I know I probably said it before in some of my other podcasts, but I like saying this, that there's 8,760 hours in a year. Everybody's time is precious,
Yes.
but that's how we all grow together, So we love to have you on. Throw the emails out. Let's get you on. If this is going to help your business
Yes.
or your progression in anything that you do, we're
Right.
all in.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're all in.
And if you have a small business, you are front of the line already.
There you go.
All right. I'm glad you brought that point up. Time is precious because that's our next question. Time is precious. Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, each day that goes by, you can't get it back. Okay, I'm a little older now. I'm not in my 20s or 30s anymore. I used to take a little time for granted, but when you have that day, fill it up. Challenge yourself. See what you're made of. We're here one time.
Right.
And if you don't throw it out there, you're never going to know.
That's it.
Did I know that I was going to have this great shop? No, I was around shops. I saw how things were going. This has brought me so many great things,
Yes.
people and experiences and everything.
Yes.
So, yeah, your time. Don't be afraid to challenge anything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Get it out there.
Yes.
The day's gone. You can't get it back. Don't dwell on the past. Go forward.
Right. Right.
That's if the old saying is, I remember this one gentleman telling me, if you're not in the lead, the view's always the same from the back. So what that means is you're looking ahead, and you're not following anybody else's steps. You're making it happen,
Right.
and that's the challenge.
Yes.
You know. But as you grow, now all these injections I get from everybody pushes me that much further,
Right.
and it's awesome.
Phew. Damn. I like that. That's beautiful.
It is great.
Last two questions here. How have you loosened up over time on the air? Like getting used to being on the air, getting used to podcasting? Because I definitely know for a fact when I first started this, my first couple of episodes, I'm just like this on the mic.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
curled up in a ball. I'm like, I remember we were sitting on the ping pong table over there.
Ping pong table. Yep, the good old days.
Oh, yeah. So, like, how over time have you become more relaxed? Because your posture is always so smooth. You're just relaxed now. You're hanging out.
Well, if you believe in something, you believe in yourself, you believe in the people around you, it's success all the way around. I remember, like I said, when we first started, we were like, oh yeah, we were timid,
Yeah.
we were like all this, and we're very grateful
Yes.
for
Absolutely.
this. Okay. That's why, like you said earlier, we're on for a long, long time, as long as we're here.
Yep.
So yeah, it does get easier.
Yes.
Like anything you do in life,
Right.
the more you do it,
Yep.
you know.
Easier it becomes.
Like I was saying earlier, I just had my 36th Christmas behind the counter. I remember when I first started, I knew nothing. I was thrown into the jewelry store. Here we go. I knew a little bit but when you got behind that counter,
Yes.
and when the customers know more than you, wow. Okay, so I went through the trenches.
Yes.
Okay, but you never forget where you come from.
Right.
If once you forget where you come from, and you start taking things for granted, that's when things go away.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Last question for you. How are you currently introducing people to the podcast? It's like when you see them out there and they say, oh, you have this podcasting. What's going on there? What is this?
Well, the first thing I tell them is, they'll see the, the microphones in the back and stuff, and they'll say, hey, what's that all about? I go, well, we do podcasts. And they go, really? I didn't know you did podcasts. So, of course, we go into it and say, look,
Right.
Cigars at the Castle.
Yep.
You can go to Spotify, YouTube,
Yep.
watch a couple episodes,
Yes.
and then you can get a feel for what we're doing.
Right.
And I tell them, we talk about, the cigar that we're smoking, and then, about business. If
Yes.
you want to start your own business, how you get started.
Yes.
So right now, that's how we're getting out there.
Yes.
And I know you push it out there.
Yes. I'm marketing like a
A
maniac.
No, then yeah, you're a maniac. But he's a list guy now.
Yes. I follow up with a lot of people.
Yeah. I was never a list guy, but let me tell you, between both businesses, you have your business, your list for both businesses, and it's very important that you do not only your business list but your personal list with that.
Yes.
I mean, now that I've got a lot of experience with it, making that list that was drilled in my head.
Yes.
Now that I put it all on paper, it gave me more room in my head to bring new information in.
Yes.
That was the feeling I was getting.
Yes.
So instead of always worrying about, oh, geez, I forgot that or this or that, write it down.
Yes.
As soon as something comes in my head, I carry a little pocket calendar right here. I'll write it down. I'll jot it down.
Right.
And if I don't get it to that day, it's on there. I will get to it.
Right.
Follow-ups are huge.
Yeah. Yes.
No one's perfect. I made a lot of mistakes, no doubt. But if I can eliminate a lot of those mistakes,
Right.
things move a lot faster.
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
No, and again, you have taught me the list. You have drilled it into my head as well. List. And people who are out there, they're like, oh, I don't have time to write a list. It takes you less than 5 seconds to write down something. I promise you, you don't have to be as in-depth as I am with lists. Again, I go hour by hour, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I write down everything I'm doing. Sleep, wake up, make the bed, take a shower, whatever it is, right? You don't have to be that in-depth. You have to say, okay, what do I need to get done today? Well, I got to make my bed. I got to take out the trash. Got to do the laundry. got to go to work, and I want to take 45 minutes. I want to read a book, for 45 minutes. I want to start something. I want to think about something. I want to research something. Put it on a list, because you will never forget if it's on a list.
Never forget.
You don't have to worry about it.
I call it pen to paper. I fought that for a long time. Not anymore. Everything's right there. So,
Yes.
like you're in business. Like my first quarter stuff's ready to roll. Our events that are coming up.
Right.
Now that we've really grown tremendously, all the distributors are coming in,
Right.
and they want to do events here. That's
Yes.
amazing when they want to do it.
Mhm.
I have that. They come into town. They specifically will come here because they love to come here, and not only just for business, but we're growing as business partners.
Yes. Yes.
I'm big on business partners.
Yes.
You shake a hand, it's done.
Yep.
Okay.
I know one of the vendors who was here for the last event. He said, "Yeah, I just come in here when I'm around.
Yeah.
I don't even wear a suit. I'm just here."
I'm just coming in. And,
Okay. All right.
You never know what information you're going to pick up.
Right.
Take it with you.
Absolutely.
So.
Well.
But anyway, I know that we have a very special person coming on tonight.
Yes, we do.
And I don't want to take up too much time.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate everybody
Absolutely.
tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
And, Valentine's Day, don't forget V-Day.
V-Day coming on up.
Okay, Valentine's Day, all the red stuff, the roses, the heart stuff at the jewelry store. You get your candies.
Yes.
Valentine's Day is a very great day for everybody.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So, and that's it. So what I'll do is we're going to take a couple-minute break.
Yes.
And then we're going to have our special guest coming on. I'm going to have Mustafa introduce her.
Yes.
And I appreciate her coming all the way a couple hours away.
Yes.
And as far as I know, she's very into the podcast world.
Yes, she is.
And I'm going to learn more about that.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. We're
I'm
all going to
very
learn
excited.
together a lot of things tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Mustafa, as always,
As always.
great job. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we filming?
We are rolling.
Oh, hey. Were you rolling me fidgeting?
Oh, of course. So, Angela, welcome to the Cigars of the Castle podcast. Thank you again so much for doing this, by the way.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. Are you kidding me? This place, as your viewers know, there's a lounge here on the other side of this wall.
Mm-hmm.
This place, I love this place, so thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. Angela, I am so happy to bring you on here because there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about. First of all, shout out to your podcast. We're going to start with Puros Music Podcast, right? Am I saying it right? Puro?
People say puro. I think it's like, I say Puros and Music Podcast because I think the inflection is like when I first heard someone maybe in the Dominican saying it. I'm just a simple New Yorker. I actually butcher all my words because we're upstate right now. But sorry, I hit the mic. But I originally grew up on Long Island, so my A's and my E, like we say water, not water. So Puros and Music Podcast, but I know people say it different. That's cool.
Yeah. Whatever gets you by.
Tomato, as they say.
Hey, there we go.
Do you know the reference to like I Love Lucy show?
No. But I feel like it's been kind of stolen from that a couple of times in different shows at this point. And also, so Puros Music Podcast on Instagram and Spotify. Now, on YouTube, you're a little bit different. So you are Authentically Angela.
I'm glad you remembered that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, I am. Because, when you first get your handle, I didn't really want to change it.
Right.
So you're right. I'm Authentically Angela on... If I hit this,
No, it's not going to make it. You're fine.
On YouTube.
Okay.
You're right.
Perfect.
And thank you for saying that because many people forget.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure
knows
people
what's
get you. Yeah. Trust me, I get it. So let's start here. What are you smoking tonight?
All right. Well, this is, I don't know if you could zoom in or what, but there's the sword, the Castle sword on this. This is hand rolled. It's the Castle's house blend, but really you tell us about it. I just know that it's a Dominican puro.
Yep, see, there
And
we go.
I will say this. Let me take a little puff here. Well, we can't. You smoke on camera?
Yes, of course I do.
Wait, we're in a constant stream here. In my podcast studio, I'm used to like going click off, click on. I do quick edit on the fly. But no, it has a very beautiful open draw, which I mean, for me, it's instantly, I'm in love with it. I never had it yet, and I'm going to smoke it now. And so far, the first few puffs I love. But I think maybe you should just kind of talk about it because I don't want to, misspeak. But you were saying how Brian has his hand in this.
Yes. So Brian has helped out, kind of picking out the blends and trying out a couple different pieces there. Rick, of course, he's always involved. This is his place, of course. He's going to be the final say in it. But it really is like a lot of people have a house cigar, right? And a lot of people have a house stick, and it's like, okay, I didn't have a lot of money that day. I came in, I bought a cigar, just wanted to relax. This is actually a pretty good cigar. And I'm not saying that because I'm here at the Castle. First of all, I don't work here. I'll start with that. I do not work for the Castle. I come here as the podcast, and I've always wanted to do this podcast with Rick ever since I met him because he has so much energy in life. But back to the cigar. I mean, this is a Dominican Puro. So there's a lot of those strong natural flavors. I mean, you're going to get some nuttiness, a little woodiness out of it, right? But then near the end, you're going to see it temper off a little bit, and it's going to be so smooth
And
just
creamy.
finish.
Because
Yes.
right, Dominicans, as in my experience, they're not known as like super spicy. Isn't that right? So this so far, like I said, they have. I don't know if you can see. There's like what is this? Like a Connecticut leaf, the
Yes.
wrapper, and
So they have a Connecticut like band that they put around it.
yeah, but
Yes.
yeah.
So they actually paste
Because-
on the sword there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they do that, and I've always wanted to ask when he comes in and he actually rolls it, but I'll check with him. But
well, if
this
he's
is-
watching this, he could comment below because
Absolutely.
it does change the startup flavor
Yes.
profile a little bit. It makes it's a nice blend right from the
Right.
start. Because like I said, I don't know if you could see, but it's wrapped with two different flavors down there.
Yes.
On top of the wrapper itself.
Yes,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
it's like two wrappers.
Yes, and I always tell everyone who smokes that cigar when you come in here, be honest about it. Just because it's a house cigar and you're in the Castle, don't feel like you're obligated to say positive things about it. If you don't like it, let us know so we can change it. And then I can bring it to Rick and be like, hey Rick, they were saying it's a little too mild or it's a little too strong, and we can temper that, like we can change it. Rick owns the blend. He can do whatever he wants with it. So if you like it a little stronger, you like it a little weaker, and we get the normal consensus that it's one way or the other, he can jack it up or he can pull it down a little bit.
Cool. Good to know.
Yes, absolutely. So you are smoking the Castle cigar made here for the Castle. I am smoking still the Pissed Off Christoph. I know we talked about it in my section there a little bit, but again, this is still one of my favorite cigars of all time.
I can smell the aroma on that, and that's nice too.
It's so smooth.
And
and-
what's the wrapper on that? That's nice.
So this one, the wrapper, I believe. Let me just go back to verify.
I'm putting them on the
San
spot,
Andreas
guys.
wrapper.
Okay,
So this
yeah,
one
I
has
do love the smell of the aroma of the San Andreas.
Yes. So there's an actual Indonesian binder.
Oh,
Have
you did say that. I
smoked-
did hear you say that before.
Yes. Have you smoked anything from Indonesia before? Because
not
personally, I
sure.
haven't been a part of that.
I'm not sure. I don't believe I have. I know. No, I don't believe I have.
Right? No. So
I'm trying to think of like other different tobaccos I've had in blends. Because I remember when I first had the Cameroon a couple years ago, and I didn't even realize that was grown in Africa at first,
Yes,
which is so
yes.
cool because we're talking tobacco worldwide.
Yes.
I know I've had stuff from Italy, but I don't know if I've had anything from Indonesia.
Right. And one of the Cavalier in there has Peruvian roots. There is another cigar that I tried out that has Hawaiian roots actually, and you would think Hawaiian sweet, right? No, it's like pepper. It's just like
Wait,
a
are you
blast
telling
of
me there's
pepper.
tobacco fields in Hawaii?
Yes, there are.
And Christoph is using
No,
that?
This isn't a Christoph that's in there. So it's a
Oh, because
completely
that
different
see, I
roller.
haven't heard that.
No, so it's a different roller. I found it in Cigars International. I was reading through it.
Okay.
And it was just like one of those things that I just caught my eye. I was like, Hawaiian, I got to try this out. And it was in their top 50 list. I believe it was 2023 that I tried this cigar. So I had it shipped in, tried it out. Personally, I'm not like super strong flavor guy. So if you hit me with pepper up front, I'm gonna back away.
Okay.
So that's why I like the Pissed Off Christoph, because it gives you that like sweet note with the pepper.
Yeah.
So it's like molasses and pepper, and you're like,
Molasses
okay,
and pepper, I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all about nice blends. I like to really explore the palate, because for me, I always say, and you probably heard on my podcast, it's kind of like, I don't know, the best way I kind of put it is like a buffet of good foods, because you could like a food, like for me, I love eggplant, but if it has to be, you also eat first with your eyes.
Right.
So, and like this, I'm smoking it with my eyes first because it has the sword, but and that's a nice wrapper on it. But I feel like there's like, kind of like with food. Sometimes
Yes.
you want chicken, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you love something, but you see it doesn't look the way it should. So that's what I'm trying to say. So having the different blends, really to me, it's also the mood. Do you find, like you said, what if you would you be in a peppery mood, or it depends?
Maybe if I'm
it's
really
not like your
upset.
number one. Yeah, it's not your number one.
No, it's definitely not my go-to when I'm already, kind of in a light mood and I just want to, feel things out and just have a good time and relax. Maybe if I'm like really angry after a day of work and I just want to feel that, pressure up front and then just relax afterwards, maybe then. But no, I think I'll stick with these for now. But I really appreciate you being here, honestly, because there's not a lot of people that I can sit down and actually like talk to about cigars.
Oh, I could talk about cigars all day long.
Oh, it's perfect. Because like here, like I can speak to some of the people that are here, but after a little while, we kind of all came to the same consensus, and it's rare that a new aficionado or, I'm not saying you're there yet, but it's rare that someone who really is invested in cigars wants to come in and sit down and talk.
Cool.
So thank you again so much for doing this, because I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, okay. Me too. Yeah, Mufasa is gonna split this up. Actually, we're gonna post it on your platforms, and then I believe you're gonna be gracious enough. He's gonna clip it out, and I'm gonna put it on mine. So what I want to say is also, I usually bring it in, but we can't bring it in. I have a tradition of bringing it in and doing a cheers. So if we may, should I show what we brought?
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna have to cheers with our water bottles though today, because we have to keep. I don't want to break like my traditional cycle here. We don't want to. We keep the mojo flowing on my channel. But so I just like I said, I came from downstate. We're up. Do you say what area we're in here now?
We're in Schenectady now. We're upstate.
We're upstate. We're upstate. I'm almost 2 hours downstate. But this is for you. This is for graciously having me on.
Okay.
I want you guys to comment below from my channel if you've ever heard of Castle Cigars, because I always tell people, really, if you're coming from the tri-state, I want to introduce people to lounges. Like I have the Caramel Cigar Vault is even a little bit more downstate, and places in Westchester, which I think you've been to. Is it Doc James? Have you been to that?
No, not yet.
I believe that's a big one in Westchester, but I just like to, let people know, because you never know really who's watching and really who's traveling. To be honest with you, like this location, as your viewers know, isn't that far off the main highway, off the thruway.
Right.
So honestly, sometimes you're on a business trip, this and that, you're coming down, you're in Albany, you're in Westchester, and you say, I need a smoke, what lounge can I go to? Well, we'll tell you where to go.
That's it right here. So a lot of people come here from the. But before I get into that, let me open this up. Let me see what you got here for me, because I'm always excited to get new presents.
Oh yeah, Mufasa's gonna be like, wait, why did I have Angela? I'm like the tangent queen, so I apologize right up front. My mother's originally from Brooklyn, and we have the gift.
The gift of the gab.
Yeah.
Taconic Distillery straight bourbon whiskey. Wow. Duchess Private Reserve, and I'm definitely going to get a photo of that so we can get a close-up on it, but this is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you're going to really like that. Definitely let me know what you think of it, and shout out to Taconic Distillery.
Absolutely.
I wanted to bring this because it's local, really to the both of us. It's kind of like in between.
Okay.
It's in between. It's like an hour up from me, about an hour down from here, and it's a beautiful place. And again, if people are in this area, check them out. I think they have bands that play there, and you could chill, and they have all different types of bourbons that they make.
Taconic Distillery. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at this place. But thank you, seriously, thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure.
This is amazing. Wow. I'm gonna leave this right up front here. They can be a part of the podcast, the rest of the episode, as they should be. So getting back to what I was kind of saying is, with this place being so located in the tri-state area, a lot of business people do end up here at the Castle because, again, they're looking for a lounge that they can come relax and smoke a cigar. And it's so close to the Albany International Airport. I think we're like a 20-minute drive from there. So they just get off the airport. They've been looking up, oh, where can I go smoke a cigar? I want to get over with this day, right? Castle Cigars. First thing that pops up typically is just like, oh, okay, let me check that place out. They come in, they see the beautiful lounge that Rick has set up out there. I mean, plenty of space to move around, sit around, do whatever you want to do. But, then they get the feeling when you're here, right? Like, you've been knighted, right?
No, I don't think so, actually.
You haven't been knighted? Okay,
No.
well, that's going to change tonight. We're going to make sure
I
that
haven't
you get
been knighted,
knighted.
but it does feel like Cheers in here. If you know that show, right?
Yes, yes.
And for the young, I'm Gen X, so I'm dating myself, but it is like Cheers in here, and that is a beautiful thing. And what that means is you come in, people hug you, people, they know your name,
Yes.
just like the song. So if you don't know, Google it, because there's a song, where everybody knows your name. Doo-doo. I gotta have Mufasa singing with me tonight. I've been known to sing.
I'll take the low notes. That's fine.
Even though I can't sing.
But kind of getting us back on track here a little bit. I know you have questions for me, and I have a lot of questions for you. So let's start with, if you want to go first, or I can go first.
No,
Up to
hit
you.
me.
All right, here we go. So we're going to talk about podcasts and community. So let's start with this. What got you started in podcasting realm, and then why the focus on cigars?
Good question. Well, what got me started in the podcasting realm actually was the pandemic, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Because cigars date back for me. I mean, I knew I loved cigars, and I knew when I became an adult, when I was like either 6, 7, or 8 years old, I would want a cigar one day because I grew up around cigars. But podcasting, I kind of just fell into it, to tell you the truth. As I'm a wedding DJ.
Yes.
My viewers know I'm a Hudson Valley DJ for 20 years. So it kind of had equipment already. I had the mics, I had this and that. Well, I do have but for my podcast, actually, I use gaming mics.
Okay.
So to kind of trim it down. But I had, the equipment, and I just was like, you know what? In the pandemic, I kind of became a podcast watcher.
Right.
And I kind of had time because I also have a day job for a school district. So in that moment, school was closed for the pandemic. So I had a little more time on my hands. And also I wasn't legally allowed to DJ, actually.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, legally. It was crazy because in the beginning, it shut down March. And I had a gig. It was St. Patrick's Day. I think right in there, it was like, March 13th, we shut, and it was St. Patrick's, and I couldn't work. And also when brides, they would push back their wedding, this and that, and then that summer, it was like the hot vac summer or something they said. But and then people were able to open up and finally have their wedding. But guess what? They said, but you can't dance in like a clump together. You can only dance with your family at your table. It had all these laws and rules because the venue, they said, in this state, I guess, could have lost their liquor license. So just not to really go on a tangent of that, and revisit that. But honestly, I kind of had a little more time on my hands.
Right.
I was forced, which actually I was kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
Because if you know me, I like to go, go, go. I mean, I have twin sons, and they probably think I'm crazy because, Mama drives a bus, she DJs, she podcasts, she runs them all. I don't know. I always say I'm going to sleep when I'm dead. But that's just, I don't know how. I just was born that way. But so just watching podcasts, watching a lot of cigar content, because I love cigars. Yes. I just kind of turned the camera on me, and I started with 25 cigars of Christmas.
Okay.
Was my first, I think.
You still continue this?
Yeah, and then I kind of it just snowballed, and I was doing reviews because I really like to have the palate, and I like to taste. I have a medical. It's a super palate. It's called a super palate. I don't know. Okay. I did the litmus test. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
I think there's a litmus test. It's like a little science lab kit where my son had it at school. And if you taste all 5 notes or something, all 5 papers, they call it a super palate. And most people, I think, only taste 3, because whatever it is. So and then I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think I have like big taste buds or something. I don't know. It's kind of it's weird, but people don't want to know that. But
Yeah.
so I just was like, you know what? Let me just kind of turn the camera on me and talk about flavor notes.
Right.
And then and then one of my friends, and then when like we, because then when I went back to the school, back to work, it was modified work with the, we had the masks on still. It's like you almost forget we live that way.
Yeah.
Because
It's 5 years ago now.
yeah,
too.
it's
That's
crazy. It is crazy. But like, and being at a school district, I didn't have a choice. Like, how
Right,
people
right,
say,
right.
"Oh, you didn't mask." It's like, all right, don't be judging me. I had to get a paycheck.
Yes.
But
yes.
then my friend got wind of what I was doing online with the cigars, and she's like, "I love cigars." And so we just kind of like hooked up, and me and Marcy's my main co-host now. Michelle, I don't know if you've seen, she's
Yes.
my other main co-host, and I also kind of thought there's a lot of cigar podcasts out there, but I wanted to bring like two ladies to the table
Right,
and kind of be a little different with women in cigars. So that's
Yes.
that's why I did it.
That's absolutely. So you found an opportunity when, you had a lot of spare time, you loved something that you're doing, and you jumped right into it. I mean, that's the three simple steps, right? Find something you're passionate about, you're asking questions, you did your research, and you're all in. It's really
Boom,
that simple.
boom it. I love that saying. Rick says, "Boom, all in."
That's
Put
it.
those words here, all in. I love that. I
All
love
in.
that. You gotta be. You gotta be.
Absolutely. And you brought up a really good point. And I mean, that's really where the beauty of, this kind of industry comes in. And I did have a question for you regarding this. What do you think this new boom that we're seeing, and again, we had the original boom that happened, right, in the early 2000s. But I think we're in a new one, and I heard you speaking to I think you were speaking to Francisco about this, is the new boom that's happening right now.
You just
a
read my
lot
mind,
more
yeah.
women are actually coming into cigars, and I think this is a great thing. I love this because, I mean, the flavor palette's always going to be there, right? And they bring a different perspective. Because back in the day, they were like, oh, we need, stronger cigars, and we want to be a tough guy, and blah, 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 blah. But then, that's just because of who the demographic was that they were shipping it to. Now, with more women coming into cigars, hey, let's actually focus on flavor again. Let's make sure it doesn't just taste like dirt. Let's actually bring out all the flavors to a cigar. So what do you think about this new boom that's happening?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that. Me and Francisco, the owner of DBL. You guys carry DBL here, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And Francisco does a rolling event here once a year.
Oh, beautiful.
Absolutely amazing. And you were here for that.
Oh, yes, I was. So much going on. No, I was. That was cool. No, I think Cigar Journal magazine, I believe it's them, feature now they dedicated, or I'm trying to think of the word, they proclaim that they will start dedicating. I think it's been 2 times, because that magazine, I believe, comes out like quarterly or something. It's not like aficionado. It's a little, the publication's a little bit different, but it's cool. It's international. It's a little different. And they, the word's on the tip of my tongue, but anyhow, they're featuring women who own lounges worldwide.
Okay.
And I think there's like, and even in Canada, there's a boom happening as well. There's new places opening up, I read in Cigar Journal, but also just women aficionados. But I think, in my opinion, I feel like Instagram or just social media in general have kind of changed the cigar game for the better. Because people, like you say, flavor, there's a lot more boutique brands that are making great headway. And also, but there's a lot of people online fully describing the cigar.
Yes.
From cap to the foot to the lighting and the how-tos and the whole thing, the inside out, the filler.
Right.
And they're really discussing the flavor notes, but not in like a, with your nose in the air, a posh way.
Right,
Because even myself, I tell people, I said, listen, you don't have to taste anything. This is first and foremost a relaxation tool, in my opinion.
Yes.
You sit, it takes about an hour or more, and you just chill with your friends. You make new friends that become family. But yes, I have seen, especially in the last 2 years, I feel it's like almost exponentially growing, where there's more women in the lounges, more women online popping up, talking about it, smoking cigars, and women owners
Yes.
of not
Yes.
just that they're smoking it, but they're having their own. They have their own line, believe it or not,
Yes.
if you've seen that, and they're having their own lounges,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
so cool.
Yes, no, and it's absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to the future that's coming with cigars. And I'm glad, you and I, we're on the ground floor. I mean, this is just the beginning of the boom, and we're already kind of, we're cemented in kind of history right now of where we are.
I like how you say that because that's what I'm dreaming of.
Yes,
Totally.
absolutely.
That's my dreams right there. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're definitely making them come true. I was watching a couple of your podcasts recently. I mean, you've had some major names on your show.
I
mean,
try.
So, as far as, a lot of your guests, and you don't have to, pick a favorite perhaps, but who are some of the most, who do you feel is one of your kind of best reviews that you've had with? Like when you sit down with somebody.
Yeah, now that's a good question because that's a hard pick because, I don't want to, it's like,
Yeah, you don't want to
how do
isolate
you
anybody.
Yeah,
But,
but
like, if you were sitting down again, who would you, well, let's do it this way. Who do you think that you got the most out of in that moment, and you don't feel like if you reviewed them again, you would get, more than you already got, versus who did you get that, hey, now that you're a little more seasoned in the game,
Yeah.
you'd love to review them again?
that's a good question. That's actually, someone from like the beginning.
Yes, yes.
When I know what to ask more
Yes.
of, yeah. Because and they do say you guys were touching upon that in the beginning of your episode, right?
Yes.
How like you were saying how Rick he's more comfortable
Yes.
from the first episode till now. That's natural with anything that we're all doing, right? If you're
Right.
playing baseball, this and that, you get up at bat, you get a little nervous, you're standing up there by yourself,
Right,
and
right,
then you just and it's like you could hit the home run, but
Right.
that's not what it's about. Sometimes it's about you're standing up there and all eyes are on you. So you're right. So well, I do have to say, shout out to comedian Robert Kelly because
Kelly.
I was so blessed to have him on my podcast.
Yes.
And the crazy thing is, at the time we were in a comedy we were in a comedy shop. We were in
Okay.
a
Comedy club?
Oh my god, I can't think of any words today. These people are gonna be like, Angela, what the f? My brain is like, but I think I'm getting camera shy tonight. We were in a comedy place and you couldn't smoke indoors at that. It wasn't a cigar lounge. So
Right.
to be honest with you, I would love to sit and have a smoke with him and kind of talk more on camera about like all the flavors that he loves because I know he loves Foundation cigars and I do too.
Right.
And he, there's the Harlem Cigar Room. Have you ever been to it
No,
in Manhattan?
no.
Shout out to the Harlem Cigar Room because their choices there too are really cool. Do you guys sell Principal here? Do you know?
Principal, don't. What's the maker?
Because see now, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But see now, I would love to interview them. But I would say like Matty Rock.
Okay.
Shout out to Matty Rock. I would love to talk to him more because he's behind the scenes
Yes.
on the cigar events as well as the cigar, distribution itself, and going to the tobacco fields. So
Have you met any of the clowns yet?
no, but that would be cool.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the cigar clowns, again, I've boasted about them so many times to different people who've come into this shop. I love Joe. He's a great guy. The herfs that they put on when they worked with the Chafayette collection with the Goldie Grace for Bikers Against Trafficking, absolutely amazing. Again, all proceeds are going directly to that, that cause. And Joe is such a fun guy to sit down and pick his brain on because he'll surprise you with a lot of knowledge that you wouldn't. If you see Joe, you're like, okay, he's a New York guy. That's what you think when you see Joe. He's a guy from New York. But when you sit down and you pick his brain, he has so much knowledge about cigars. I mean, from head to foot. He'll tell you the breakdown of the blends. He'll tell you, oh, well, this country actually has this farm. And in that farm, there are separate pieces here and here and here. It's like, Joe, what's it? But
It's good to have that kind of intel too to
Absolutely.
the farms.
Yes.
Because I do want to say, if I could interject, people forget this is a natural product, a
Yes.
cigar, and it's grown. Well, here's the farm.
Yes.
Just like you would say, I mean, it's strawberry fields. I mean, the tobacco fields. They're have you ever walked through a tobacco field?
No, not yet.
I've had the opportunity. It's such a cool experience, and then you really realize just exactly,
Where it all comes
yeah.
from, right?
So that's what you're saying. He's
He's
really gets
very
into
in
the nuts
tune.
and bolts
Yes,
of describing it. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd actually have to say, shout out to Jesse. He owns Taste of Cuba, Taste of Cuba Media, and his Instagram is Taste of Cuba.
Taste of Cuba.
Do you know him?
No.
I interviewed him, and I would love to. We're going to have him on again. Now, he is very knowledgeable, and he actually has his own cigar that's dropping
Okay.
called a dark hood, or
Dark Hood?
the dark hood. We'll
Dark
have
Hood.
to, but actually, Francisco makes that.
Almonte?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's gonna be
You know it's a great
I'm
one
gonna
when he's
feature
rolling
that
it.
one coming up. It's dropping any second.
Yes.
So
Looking
I'm
forward
sorry,
to it.
just to circle back.
Absolutely.
Definitely, my answer to your first question would be I'm going to have Jesse on again because
Jesse
his
on again.
knowledge of cigars is like
Absolutely.
far and wide.
No, I look forward to watching it. And again, because you've become more, familiar with the game, and also you become more confident on the mic. I mean, again, I always do this with people who have content online. I'll go back to like their first 2 videos and I'll watch those, and then I'll come back to the newer ones. I'm like, wow, it's just like a world of difference.
That's
just your
fun.
mannerisms, the way you're kind of moving around, getting close to the mic, moving back from the mic, and just like being a little nervous energy versus now you're just and you're involved, like you're invested. Your podcast is exciting to sit down and watch.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
you have
you.
a lot of energy there. And
Thank
I love
you.
That.
Even though I'm tripping on my words right now, thank you. I got to stop that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
as well. I'm enjoying, and I want everyone. If you haven't caught is it the bourbon one, the Bourbon Boys?
So they are the whiskey sippers.
Oh, sorry, the Whiskey Sippers. If you haven't caught Mufasa's episode with them,
Yes.
that's a good one. That's a good
That is one of the best ones I think we've done. I mean, the viewership alone kind of tells you the story
Yeah.
there. But that was in kind of my early days of learning, like, hey, what am I going to do if I have more than just me and one other person with the podcast? And we just kind of made that up as we went.
Yeah.
So as you saw, it was just 4 of us sharing 2 mics and just back and forth, back and forth. The audio is so messed up. I want to go back, and that's going to be a goal for me this year, is to go back to that podcast. And by the end of this year, I want to re-release it with better audio quality.
I was gonna say, answer your own question. You could interview, do a segment part 2
Yes.
with them.
Yes.
Have them on
I
again.
would love to have those guys
Yeah.
on again. I mean, again, just to sit down with them, and of course Brian.
Oh yeah,
Brian,
his
he's
knowledge
just-
is.
It's he is an absolute hidden gem in this area. He's been on the road for 20 plus years. For different manufacturers. He's been to everywhere you could imagine. He's sold every cigar you can imagine. He knows a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of people know him and respect him because he's an honest guy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yep.
He's not going to pull your leg. He's not going to BS you and try to sell you something. He's just like, well, what do you like? Let's get you what you like.
That's so important in the lounges, in the shops, to not just push the $40 stick.
Right.
I mean,
right,
if the client is kind of describing what they like and it's an $8 stick or what
Yeah.
have you, then hey,
Yeah. Then you sell them what
honesty,
they like.
yeah, keeps the
Exactly.
customer coming back, I believe.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. And like Rick said, he tries his best when he's kind of speaking in these kind of segments to just not. He doesn't want to call them customers because honestly, if you talk to Rick, you're a friend of Rick. Like he loves everybody that comes around him. He loves, his energy is just that of somebody who really wants to help you. Like no matter what you're going through in life, he's there and he wants to help you. And he's had many years to sort that out in his own life, and now coming into this life that he's built for himself over 36 years in business. I mean, he's one of a kind. Who are some people in your life right now that have kind of helped you along the way? So like,
You mean that if they're in heaven, you don't want to, because
Yeah, you can say them as well.
my grandpa
your grandpa, okay?
and my grandma,
Yeah.
but they're both in heaven.
Okay.
But just to put the baseline on that, because I grew up in delis, and my grandpa had 2 delis. Then my father had a deli.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, I have to say that because being around that type of customer service and that small business, that has led me actually to exactly where I am right now, and even doing podcasts and even talking to you right now, because it kind of made me not shy a
Right.
little bit, because I was 9 years old having to be like, oh, you want some potato salad, at to customers at the deli. So it's like in me, my subconscious, but like, but today, being a mom, I have, I think, did I already say on camera, I have twin sons.
Yes.
They actually daily inspire me just to keep going. So that actually, I have to say, my family and
Shout out to your sons. They clearly have had a great motivation on you, and I'm sure they're both in college. We won't name colleges, but they're both in college right now. So congratulations to you, by the way, for being a great parent, bringing up 2 children that can go to college. Because not a lot of people can do that, right?
You try. We do our best. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's all. If anyone's a parent out there, they know it's. We can't control them, so we
Right.
just can guide them the
Yes.
best we know how. Because I'm Gen X, so the way I was raised, I tell my kids, I'm like, you're lucky your grandpa's not raising you. My dad. Hey, Dad, I know you're not watching this actually, because he's not really that technological.
Right.
He knows I have a podcast act. My mom does watch this though.
Okay.
So shout out
Hi,
to
Mom.
you. But so did I answer your question? Because
Yes,
do you want me
absolutely.
to name, you mean like someone
Yeah.
in the cigar world?
No,
Or
no. So
just like who
anybody
inspires
who's-
me
Yes.
to keep it going?
So you said your
Yeah.
grandparents, and then definitely your kids.
Yeah, and actually, you, because to tell you the truth, when I first met you, it was just so cool. Like, also, you are equally a go-getter. So
Thank
the fact that you have this podcast and you come to this lounge, it sounds corny, but that inspires me. Because it's like we're all just moving forward, and until we're 6 feet under,
Yes.
I mean, we gotta make hay while the sun shines, as they say. So I
Yes.
kind of was raised that way.
Thank
I
you.
was, so, but
Oh, absolutely. Now, let's get into a couple more questions here. Going back to podcasting a little bit, what's been the most surprising or like rewarding parts of connecting with these cigar manufacturers or even just your audience?
well, to be honest with you, I have a personal goal to have my own cigar one day.
Okay.
I've always kind of dreamed, even from like the minute I turned the camera on. Well, actually, before that, I guess, to have to open a lounge called Uncle Philly's, because that's my Uncle Philly. That was my grandpa's brother. He used to chew on cigars, unbanded, Sicilian American immigrant, just chewing. So I would name the lounge Uncle Philly's, and I would want my own DJ Dolce stick. So honestly, that kind of is in the back of my mind, and so that keeps me going towards and just the relaxation of the cigar in and of itself. At my age now, like, I just feel like having a cigar, especially in my backyard at my fire pit, is so important to kind of decompress and just, I mean, it's unbelievable what this can do. And also, shout out to Deidre Story Cigar. She has her own cigar, but when I interviewed her, she told me, it's on camera, so hey, medical world. She said, do you know that when I started enjoying cigars, I went off my blood pressure medication? It really worked. It really was like meditation and relaxed her. So she said, I don't need my blood pressure medication. And I don't know about you, but like when my doctor asks, like, on the form, do you smoke? No, I've never had cigarettes. I've never smoked. And I did start this as an adult, so it wasn't like I've had, from 14 to whatever age smoking, but I do say I enjoy a cigar. Because, also, but they say, oh, that's fine. So I was like, oh, that's good to hear.
Okay, all right.
I
I'm
need
glad
a
it's-
doctor to, no,
Yeah, I'm glad
honestly.
it's not just my doctor because he said the same thing. I was like, well, I enjoy a cigar every now and then. He's like, that doesn't count. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's been more than one, but also, not to sound funny, when I do shoot some episodes, and because some people will be like, "You smoke a lot of cigars," I go, "Actually, I don't." To tell you that, not to sound funny, but if I put this down and I start talking, and then it goes out, I don't even finish one whole cigar. People think they're like, you have a podcast, you have 10 cigars a day. I go,
Like,
actually, no, you'd be surprised.
Right,
I don't.
right.
I would like to, but but to be honest with you, like if I'm in a super event, I think the most I've ever had in one day, this is just me personally, was 3. Do you know how many cigars you've had?
Yes.
I know there's certain blenders and they're like, I smoke 7 cigars a day, which is cool, but like I've honestly, I don't really have that many in one sitting.
The most I've ever had in one day was 4.
Okay,
and
yeah.
That was a rough day. At the end of it, I was like, I'm 2 a day maximum.
Yeah.
When I come to the cigar lounge, that's it.
Yeah.
But again, you don't come. I used to come here every single day, And I'd have days here where I just didn't smoke. Like I would be helping Rick move stuff around. I'd be doing stuff in the shop, like, doing whatever, that helps us out. Or I'd come here, I'd sit down, I'd open up my business plan to him. When I first started my business, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And he's like, come here. Like, sit down. Here, we're going to do this. We're do this. We're do this. We want this kind of growth. We want to do this. Done. Okay, here you go. And then I'd walk out of the shop. I didn't even, smoke a cigar. So, people who are on podcasts, and I can only speak for myself and you a little bit, right? I don't smoke every day. I'd like to smoke every day.
Same.
It's very relaxing. But, number one, it's not in the budget to smoke every day because
Right.
the cigars that I do really enjoy that I would like to have a daily smoke are a little pricey.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little much. But even then, I still want it to be something that I can look forward to at the end of the week, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a Wednesday during the podcast. Enjoy the week as it comes, and then let it all go with a cigar and just relax.
Cool.
Do you feel kind of the same way?
Oh yeah, I'm so relaxed right now. It just having this in my hand is just like,
Yes.
oh man, the instant decompression that happens it's real actually. I'm not putting it on.
All right, a couple more questions about the podcast world in general. How do you think, and you touched on this a little bit, but how do you think podcasts have actually kind of shaped or highlighted cigar culture to where we are today?
Yeah, well, I think they say there's like 4 or 5 million podcasts out there.
Yes, yes. Did you know a very funny fact about that? 90% of podcasts do not make it past episode 3.
Whoa.
You're in a 10% already.
All right,
If you make it to 4.
Boom it. Boom it
I
and
can
kaboot
imagine
it.
you're in a 1 percentile for how many episodes you have now.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not know that fact. Wait, ask me that again.
Yes. How do you think podcasts have shaped or highlighted cigar culture today?
Good question. I think we touched upon this before. I think it's enhanced the growth of it's made a space for boutique cigars to kind of flourish. And then also the there's like I said, I know we're here. I don't want to, we're at Castle Cigars is number 1, but I did mention Harlem Cigar Room. I do have to be honest. We're all it's a brotherhood, sisterhood of Leaf, but that's all the way in Manhattan. So I'm not taking your business away, but
It wouldn't here's the thing, right? We want people to go to the best place.
Yeah.
And if we're not the best place, let's find out why not. Let's make it better.
yeah. No, well, this is the best place, but I'm just saying, here, this is the house blend, but they also have house blends and cigars coming out of there, but the medium of the podcast, not just social media. I mean, in a few years back, even before the pandemic, for my DJ business, I was doing the Facebook ads, and that really helped me grow. I would get even just my mom was actually shocked and surprised. She'd be like, "Wait, you booked a wedding and you didn't meet the bride yet?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yep.
That's actually, the Zoom call, so they're not a bot,
Right.
But I said no, I don't have to, it was just wild. I mean, again, being my, especially her age, she's like, that is so cool. So the social media, like I said, with the Facebook ads, but so do you guys, well, you said Brian push it, but do you guys ship out from here? If
No.
anyone,
So
okay.
that's only available here at the castle.
Okay, because that's what I'm saying. I just feel definitely podcasts have helped spread the word, and also, but people will say follow me on social XYZ. I have my new boutique brand, and then you can click the link,
Right.
and
right.
then they ship
Yes.
out to the
Yes.
48 content. So I think, did that answer your question?
Yes, it
I
did.
think that's helped sales, and then also to kind of shine a light on the PCA and things that are going on. Have you ever been to one of the associations?
No. The most I've been to so far is a HERF that was happening with the clowns, cigar clowns.
Yeah, I think the PCA is a Premium Cigar Association. But what that is, and there's the NYCA, the New York Cigar Association, which is really important. Actually, we should put the link below because that has nothing to do with sales. That is the NYCA that helps us from Buffalo to Brooklyn to, because in this state, as you know, it's about a 75% tax.
Yes.
So
Yes.
honestly, they're just trying to help curb that, lower that, and help people get educated on that this has nothing to do
Right.
with cigarettes.
Right.
Which I get,
Yes.
the kids and stuff and not pushing it. You have to be 21 and plus, but it's what we're doing here no kid can, even if they did scroll upon this, which they're not because we flag it as 21 and above, they're not going to just walk. They can't walk in here and buy a cigar.
Right.
Like
You
you
still have to
can't.
get ID.
Yeah, you can't
Like-
be a 12-year-old
Right.
and come in here and
Buy
just.
a
But that's what I think.
Yeah.
Not to kind of. I think that's. People need to get a little bit more educated on that. Because
So there's a lot of pieces involved in that, right? You have your legislation, right, that raised it recently, so they get more taxes. They saw this number coming in, but also, all right. So here's how they shipped it to Congress, and I know this already. I've spoken to a couple of people in different chambers. They shipped it as we need to get kids away from cigarettes. Okay, we need to get kids away from vapes. Vapes are the one that's really killing it, right?
well, my mom's a nurse.
I'm sure. She
I
can
hate to
you.
tell you guys, but vaping is about 100,000 times worse than 20 of these in 1 minute.
Yes.
I'm sorry to tell you all.
Yes. And also, again, with cigars, you are not inhaling a cigar. You do not bring it into your lungs. You do not bring it into your cavities. You breathe it into your mouth. You taste the flavor. You breathe it out. That's it, right? With cigarettes, there are so many chemicals inside of them that are not tobacco-based. Rat poison has been found in most cigarettes.
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass has been found in cigarettes.
Well, that's what I'm
Like-
saying about the tobacco field.
Yes.
This is, I mean, if
This
you
is a
ever walk
leaf.
through the tobacco field, it's humbling
Yes.
to know it's,
Right.
that's all that this is.
Right. And it's I get it. It's a noble effort if you're putting that major tax on it for that reason. If that's the only reason you have, right? Hey, we want to get kids away from this. I don't think we should be promoting kids to get addicted
100%.
to this. And I agree with that 100%. But for the 21-year-old and up adult, you should not be
Punished.
punished for
Is that the right word?
That is a great, yes, that's the best word for it. You shouldn't be punished because you want to go to a cigar lounge, you want to learn from some people that are hanging out there, you want to meet up with friends in a safe environment where you're not going out drinking, getting trashed with a bunch of friends, and then driving home, right? Instead, go grab a stick, sit down, have a thoughtful conversation.
Yeah, make new friends.
Make new friends with people around the lounges, right? And there's plenty of lounges around the state. And again, we're not just promoting Castle Cigars. We're here at Castle Cigars, but there's plenty of great lounges out there. Go meet somebody, right? Go sit down and have a cigar. We shouldn't be punished for the sins of the father, in a sense. Just because, they didn't promote it well, or they had, cigarette ads on television and all the other things that they added back in the day.
Yeah,
right?
hey,
John
that's not our
Wayne
fault.
yeah. But, kind of getting away from that topic a little bit. You're working hard towards building your own cigar brand, and you want to have your own cigar, right, and your own lounge. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a podcast?
I would say do it.
Do it.
Start it.
Yes.
Right now, Mufasa has a nice, cool setup with his laptop, but here's a secret. YouTube, Google search, how to with your iPhone,
Yes.
Android phone. Because you could actually just do it with your phone. You can just start. You could start in your bedroom. You could start in the garage.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit more soundproof, this and that. But on whatever topic you have.
Right.
If you play guitar and you want to show people,
Yeah.
how to finger pick,
Yeah.
strum, just point and shoot. Because, and here's the thing too, it's very important. Because when I first started my podcast, I kind of was a little discouraged because I'm like, there's a lot of cigar content out there.
Right.
And I didn't really want to kind of like, get lost in the shuffle and or just kind of feel like people are being like, oh, like, what do you have to bring to the table? And then I was like, you know what? That's why I kind of named my YouTube channel Authentically Angela. Also because like it's a play on words with the AA. Because I'm thinking, what am I going to name this? But I just said, I'm going to point and shoot. I'm going to be me. Because actually, at first, I was doing like in my garage, having the cigar and doing a little bit like a workshop, my garage workshop, like a little bit of light woodworking.
Okay.
But because they just shifted quickly, I was going to do multiple things. And then also I have more plans for the music because we did play some music.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, poo-poo
YouTube
that.
flagged you?
Yeah, but I think I'm going to try to, I have to be more diligent with just breaking out my own guitar actually, but I haven't. I think I'm a little shy with that, but
Right. Well, if you're on Spotify, you can play the music.
Yes, we
Yes.
do have that. Can we tell the people?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, check out Spotify.
Yes.
On the name of my podcast is just the playlist is the name of the podcast. Puros Music playlist. It's a public one
Yes.
for everybody. Check it
Yes.
out because any music I talk about, because I think it's important. I think it's the third component of enjoying the cigar. You have the cigar. You either have your spirit or your non-spirit, whatever you're drinking, even if it's like Coca-Cola. But I feel like you have to have music playing.
Right.
That's my opinion. Just in the background, whether it's smooth jazz, whether it is actually Metallica, but like,
Right.
I mean, it could be. It just adds to the experience. But I'm going on a tangent. But for the podcast, just get it started,
Just do it.
and you could use there's free apps
Yes.
for editing, and
So
you know,
I will recommend
yeah.
the apps that I use right now. Completely free apps, by the way. You can get the paid versions if you'd like. But the ones that I use, and actually, let's start with yours. What do you use for not even editing, but just recording? So you record with your phone, which is actually really impressive. When you look at some of the content you've put out, that's really impressive.
Yeah,
that
that's a
you've done
secret. Don't tell anyone. That's an industry secret.
Industry secret. Shh. It's
I try
between
to
you
make
and
it. I try to make it look as It's like smoke and mirrors. I
do
think
a
it's
very
the
good
yeah.
job.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank
even
you.
if you look at the lighting now, I mean, this is some phenomenal lighting. You'll see a difference between when Rick and I were just here moments ago and when Angela and I are here now. You see a big difference. She came in here, she set it up a certain way. She likes the way that she has it, and it looks better. Like, I can honestly say, it looks way better.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And then in some apps, I use the Splice app. Well, like you said, for me it's free, but like you said, you could kind of pay for the upgrades. But I think there's certain things like when you hold your finger on it, the exposure, you can make it brighter. Like how you said, you could like edit out the sounds.
Yes.
And
yes,
all
yes.
that. So but yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just play with it. Because I did do like a lot of like dummy episodes, so to speak. I
Okay.
would film, I
Yeah.
would kind of edit it, just do 8 minutes or less.
Right.
Play with it at home, and kind of like practicing anything music. Like if you play guitar or what have you, or drums, you're gonna start out like clunky,
Yes.
and then you're gonna become master at it. So I would just say kind of play with it, do it, edit it, and then delete it, and then it would just then by the time you do your third, fifth, 10th one,
Right.
you'll be a pro.
Yes. And I'm speaking to all the podcasters out there. Listen, we're going to let you in a little secret. People like to see growth. People don't want to see you. So a lot of people, they're saying, well, I got to wait until I get the better camera, and I got to wait until I get the better mics, and I got to get the, better everything. Okay, but then where do you go from there? A lot of people come in full production, right? I've seen podcasts that came in full production and they failed because people don't want to see, the over advertised thing right from the get-go. They want to see, hey, this person has an idea. They're somebody like me, right? Somebody relatable to them. And then watch them grow over time. They're now invested in that product.
100%.
Now they want to see that
You got to be
all the
yourself.
way.
Yeah, you got to be yourself.
Yes.
No matter
yes.
what, your personality has to shine through, irregardless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, a great app that I use if you are going to record on, Android, iPhone, or if you're going to record on like an actual mic or excuse me, if you're going to record on a laptop of any kind or a desktop, if you're going to do it that way, I always use OBS Studios, completely free, by the way. So I'll put that link down there. The other one is DaVinci. So DaVinci is my editing platform. I use that for Wave.mp, the business that I run. I do have the paid version for the business, but when I'm doing the podcast, I use the free version. All of this is edited right in DaVinci. It's completely free. It's very intimidating to get into when you first look at it. You see all these buttons, all these different sliders. If you've ever done any kind of like game design, so I'm speaking to my game designers out there, in Unity 3D, it has the same setup as that. So it's very similar to that as well. But to all my non-game designers, watch a couple videos on it. Just figure out how to do a couple things. If you run into any problems, any questions at all about this, you can use that lighter there. It looks like yours is just on you there. Oh, is that the second one? Did it freeze in the car?
Yeah, I think
all the
it
way
is.
up here?
My butane's like frozen.
But if you have any questions, please put them down there in the comments. Send me a message directly. I will get on Discord with you and screen share how we do it here, and I can walk you through what you're going through. And I can help you out with anything that you need. I have no problem doing that on a Saturday or Sunday. Just send me a message. But going back to you on your part a little bit here, You gave a lot of shout outs to a lot of great companies, a lot of great places. Who are some of the other cigar podcasts that you first started watching?
Well, when I Googled, no, in YouTube, when I searched like how to, whatever it was, properly cut a cigar.
Right.
I will say this. I think the Cigar Advisor, is it? Do you know them?
Advisor? I'm not familiar.
Popped up first, but actually, if you look at some of their videos, they're like 11. They're old. They're older.
Is that the
so they're still
older
kind of
gentleman who sits with the suit on, right? And the two gentlemen sitting in the seats?
maybe, yeah. So
Okay.
that was the first thing that popped up, and this was years ago. And but then I realized that was like older content, which is fine. It's still great. It was
Right.
cigar education, is what
Yes.
And then so Cigars Daily. Tim, do you know of him?
Yes.
He has an excellent. He has his own shop in Arizona. His own shop and lounge. So he does excellent content. He teaches you soup to nuts about the cigar, the whole industry, the whole thing from seed to what is it? From seed to stick. They call call it, right?
Yes.
And
That's actually Angie's, the shop owner here. That's one of her favorite YouTubers.
who Tim from
yes. Cigars Daily.
Yeah.
She will put that on religiously in
Yeah.
the shop, and she will watch every single video.
Yeah.
She's a big fan. If you are ever in the area, please stop by.
Yeah.
Come give her a hug because that will make her day. Because who else? So you
No,
have
that's great.
you have
Yeah, he has
Cigars
excellent.
Daily.
Yeah, so that was early on. He taught, he teaches you. The Burn Down podcast.
Okay.
That's a big one. I had the opportunity to meet them.
Really?
What's their names? Eric and Justin.
Hey.
Shout out to them. Yeah, I just I reviewed their cigar. They have they also have their own cigar.
Okay.
And they just came out with the second one. I think
right.
that just dropped. Just dropped.
Honest thoughts on their cigar. Go ahead. Put you on the spot.
Well, yeah, put me on the spot because and I did say this, I think on I was gonna say on TV.
On TV, when I was out there.
No, but that dates me. Younger people are like, even my own kids, they don't watch TV. They watch their phone, right, or something.
Yes.
Anyhow, no, their Blueprint cigar. Now, do you know them? The Burn Down podcast. It's a good one. That was their first cigar they dropped about 2 years ago, what have you. It is, in my opinion, perfect. It's everything I want, like my
Your palate?
yeah. It's chocolatey, it's creamy, it's this and that. The draw is perfect, this and that. But then they put out the Diligent. That's new, and I did feature that, I think, in my top 25 cigars of 2024, my last video. But I love it. I like it a lot. I'm going to have to say I like it a lot because next to their Blueprint, the Blueprint, in my opinion, blows it away, in my opinion, because it just delivers everything I need. But they also have the Diligent.
Okay.
It's not bad at all. It's just,
Right.
it's what you're in the mood for.
Right.
Your
It's
palate.
what your palate is. Exactly.
Like you said, to give you an honest. So far, now, does this have any? Is this supposed to show floral notes? Because this has a nice cedar. Is it supposed to?
Yes.
I'm getting a nice cedar, and so far I'm only in the first third, but this is really nice. But yeah, like I said, it's just really what you're in the mood for. Because again, it goes back to that, like, you love eggplant. Everyone basically eats chicken unless you're vegan, this and that, vegetarian.
Exactly.
But like, you can make chicken 100 ways. So it's like, it's your personal palate, and luckily, there's plenty of cigar. Not even just if you go with one, let's say one cigar company. Let's not even say there's 500 cigar makers.
Right.
Like Francisco, he's got quite a line. So
Yes.
you may not like one of his sticks
Right.
at all.
Right.
But you still love DBL cigars.
Yes.
Because he's got 3 others that you
Right.
can't live without.
Yes. And he does have one, I believe it's the Habano that has the spice tip. Brian surprised me with that one day. It's got the, so it has a torpedo shape to it. He's like, oh yeah, just cut it off. And I never cut a torpedo before, so I definitely messed up the cut.
Oh.
But he was showing me, he's like, no, try out that cigar. And he's just sitting there, and I see him out of the corner of my eye. He's just sitting there watching. He's just waiting. The second I put it to my lips, I was like, oh, what is that? Oh. He's like, oh, it's a spice tip. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy. But trying it out and going through the cigar, like after you get over the fact that it's a spice tip, great flavors come out of that. Amazing draw out of that. It's just,
Yeah.
there's certain things that people are in the mood for at the certain time. Now, a couple more questions that I have for you. But before that, I wanted to go back. Some of the cigar people or other cigar podcasters that have kind of helped you along the way. Have you reached out to any of them to say, hey, how can I do this a little bit better? And has anybody been, overly helpful, or has anybody kind of stepped in and given you a hand when you needed it?
Brother Cigar, I think his name is Anthony.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
No, I have not.
Oh, I can't remember where he's out of. I want to say Philadelphia. I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
Pennsylvania. Maybe he's from Virginia. But anyway, shout out to you, Brother Cigar. He's
Shout
got
out.
a nice following. And actually, he just sort of like, he went from like whatever it was, 400 followers to like 4,000 followers. Like, he's really making headway. And that's really cool. But he was proactive and nice all on his own. He would like drop comments on my videos and be like, hey, I use this camera, this and that. If you have any, any questions. Anyway, he was very kind and just offered, say like, hey, reach out anytime, this and that. These are the cameras I use. If you ever have any questions, feel free. So that was cool.
Right.
And that really helped.
Yeah.
I can't remember. In the early days, there was a couple others. And actually, the Burn Down,
Yes.
when I met them in person, I was at a business event down in, I believe it was Westchester. It was actually like a cigar business event that Tony Peck, Tony Peck?
Yes.
Tony Peck threw it. He had, oh man, we could talk about, shout out to Tony Peck. It was his cigar event, this and that. And I had asked the guys what, and they told me this is the, and they taught me about cap cut.
Okay.
Can you believe I didn't even know what cap cut is? Do you know what cap cut is?
Wait, are you talking about just
The app?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
Okay.
and
Yes.
because I was like, what do you guys do for your podcast? And that helped me tremendously, because that sounds crazy, but when you do the caption,
Yes.
but with
Yes.
the cool fonts and the colors and the,
Yes.
so I never had that. So I was going years without that, and
Yes. Yes.
You get,
I wish I used that, honestly, more.
you do you have it?
CapCut, I do have it
Yeah.
downloaded. I never use it.
Okay.
I put it all in by hand, and it is tedious.
It is.
It's very tedious.
Yeah.
Matching words to pop up at the exact time that someone moves their mouth, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't look funky or like kind of throw you off a little bit.
100%. I was going to say, when you asked me that podcast question, I was going to say, guys, don't get discouraged, because the editing, you could spend an hour on a 5-minute clip.
Yes, you will.
And that's what Mufasa's saying. You have to match up the caption with the mouth.
Yes.
So sometimes mine, I don't think matches it. I just go, I got to post this because I'm going to just be doing this for like another 2 hours, and I can't.
Right. No, I hear you on that. As far as, our side, I always want to give a shout out to the cigar guys. And let me sit up for this one.
Oh, who are those? The guys in New Hampshire?
Those are the guys in Florida.
Oh no!
So the Cigar Guys podcast.
The basis cigar.
4 guys. Yes, the Basis Cigars.
I did a review on them. They're
Really?
cool. Yeah, they're cool. They
Yes.
actually saw what I was doing. If I'm missing anybody,
Yes.
I apologize. There's a good 10 of you guys out there that
Right.
really help out. Yeah, they were helpful too.
Yes.
Not to interrupt you, but they had sent me like not merch, but they sent me like pens even.
Really?
And like
Okay.
they were like, yeah. I bought their cigars.
Okay.
But then they were kind of threw a couple other things in, and they were
Right,
like, "Hey,
right.
Ange, thanks," because I reviewed their cigar.
Right.
Those guys are cool.
Yes.
Have you met them?
I have not met them, but Alex actually gave me my phone call. So I saw his podcast
Oh,
up, and he
cool.
was just starting around the time I wanted to start this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like, can I have some pointers on how you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I put myself out there. I got a little vulnerable. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I really need some help on this. And he's like, here's my number. Give me a call.
Oh, that's so great.
And
Yeah, that's so great.
He spent like 45 minutes to an hour with me, just going over everything from the basics all the way down through like, hey, this is the editor we use, this is software, this is how we're going to do it in the future. Like, he had plans for the future,
Yeah.
how he's going to market himself in the future. Like, this guy is a genius.
And
Let's
it's him
just
with
start
his
there.
brother, right? And then and their friend.
Yeah, so they actually
So
have
that's
4
what's
guys
cool
now.
too, because it's it's with his brother. I mean, that's like heartwarming to me.
Right. He is.
That's what I mean. You want to
They're
talk
amazing.
authentic?
They're absolutely amazing. I
Yeah.
love you guys down there in Florida. I will be there in February, so maybe we'll meet up. We'll link up. We'll finally
Link up with Mufasa.
We'll get a podcast going down there, possibly.
Yeah, man, you got to get on that podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to be down there with them.
From our mouth to God's ears.
Yes.
Hey, Put Mufasa on.
The other person I really want to give a shout out to is, and now this is a weird one. It's Dry Creek Wrangler. He is a YouTuber who does a lot of.
Yes.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Yes.
4 years ago, I picked up
Me
a cigar
too.
for the first time.
Me too. I bet I know what you're going to say. I'm going to cut you up right now. When I was in YouTube and you do the search inside the YouTube search, not the.
Yes.
He came right up.
Yes.
I'm sure we watched the same video as our
Absolutely.
first video of his.
Yep.
I bet you anything.
Yep. He's just, why do I smoke cigars? Dwayne, thank you so much. You have brought me into so many relationships with people, and you have brought me so much friendship and happiness in my life just from that one video you made.
100%. Yeah.
And you have inspired so many others. I checked the YouTube video before I came here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's over 1 million views for a reason.
Wow.
It's so authentic.
The one
And,
from 4
like,
years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so wild
It's
how like.
so good.
Yes, I love him.
Oh my God. And he is just a very kind, authentic, southern, slow speaker, right? And he's just got that vibe to him where it's like, I want to be around you. I want to hang out. We need to smoke a cigar. Maybe let's go down to the range and let's go shoot something, right? Like that. Great
Take
guy.
me, I want to shoot too.
Absolutely.
And ride the horses. My mother was equestrian when she.
Really?
Yeah, on Long Island in Huntington back in
Really?
the day. Yeah.
What
Because
kind-
he does the horse.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, it's a great channel all around.
Absolutely.
But I stumbled upon it for cigars.
Right.
And then I got deeper. I'm sure you
Yes.
watched him build a
Oh,
fence.
absolutely.
I mean, it's the coolest.
I went down a rabbit hole with him for a long time.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's the one who like really taught me my first, like, hey, here's how you hold a cigar when you walk into a shop. Here's how you cut it. This is why you smoke it. Don't inhale it. Because I was definitely going to make that mistake. And then the final podcast I'm going to give a shout out to, of course, is the 518 Catalysts right here in this area. Nate Ryan, we love you, buddy. Me and you and Nate, we all sat down that day when you came into the shop. Great guy. Family man, has his 2 kids. He's just such a great guy. And I use this word very, very intentionally with certain people. He is very, very authentic. What you see is what you get with Nate, and his podcast, it really tries to bring out more of the mental health issues that are going on in the community and in our area and around the world in general. And please, if you haven't seen it yet, the 518 Catalyst, please go check him out. Nate Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, getting back to us, I have a couple of flavor questions to add in here. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only bring 3 cigars, so you can bring boxes of them, but you only bring 3 different brands and 3 of specific cigars, and 1 drink,
Oh no.
what would they be?
Oh well, the drink has to be an alcohol product, actually.
Yes.
Maybe even a vodka, even though that wouldn't maybe be what I'm drinking with my cigar, because
Right.
the way you asked that it's like it could act as many different things.
Yes,
On
yes, yes.
You said on a desert island.
Desert island.
Because you could put it in a wound. Again, my mother's a nurse, so straight vodka, even the cheapest of vodka, can you?
Everclear.
Yeah, if
You're
you
all
ever
for it.
need it, if you ever have a cut.
Little Devil Springs, we'll take it with us.
But let's see. So I could bring a whole box, but
Yes.
only three. Okay,
3.
so and AJ Fernandez, what he's blending, that's tops for me.
Well, here's the thing with
'Cause-
AJ. He blends everything and anything.
I know, there's a lot.
Well, I want to say that in the nicest of ways.
Yeah,
Everything he puts out is amazing.
yeah.
Everything. I haven't had a bad stick from AJ, so I will say that 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have to be more specific.
Yeah, that's yeah. He does, and Artisano del Tobacco. Those guys, I have an interview with them on my
Okay.
podcast. They're brothers. You know them, Billy and
I
Gus.
don't know them
Oh,
personally,
Billy
no.
and Gus. They own that, but AJ blends for them. So I guess I'd pick one of their. I think it's the El Pupo. You know that one?
No. I do
That's a
not.
good one. That's a good one.
I'll have to give it a shot.
So to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So it's AJ's blending and Artisano's company. So we'll buy that. We'll bring that box. So they both get paid on that one there. Because, the Romeo y Julieta, crafted.
Julietas?
Yeah, I always probably say that wrong. Crafted by AJ. I'd say that's pretty almost my number 1. And then Drew Estate. Are you into Drew Estate? Because I think I just put their Pappy Van Winkle as my top of
Okay.
2024 as my number one.
Do you know if that goes well with a Pappy?
What the?
With the actual
Oh,
alcohol?
you know what? I've been trying to get my hands on that.
Well,
Have
good
you?
luck.
I know the liquor shops by me. There's one that does get it, and it literally.
It sells out the second
the-
it hits the market. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even. I can't even hold it.
Right.
He won't even let me hold for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And a
And it's
great-
me. He won't even. I'm saying because I know I feature stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, we had
Right.
the Taconic on here, so maybe I'll bring actually on that deserted island.
the Taconic with you.
Distillery. Because they don't make a vodka, I believe, but so I'll bring their bourbon. But but yeah,
Yeah.
I could put a bourbon. You could cure the flu with that too. So
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
you could cure. But let's see. So the third would be. Oh, it's so hard.
Estate.
It's so hard to say though.
Well, you said the Romeo Julieta. You said the other one.
Well, I don't want to kind of like. I just was like going on a tangent about
okay,
AJ because
gotcha.
AJ in general.
Yes.
AJ Fernandez. I mean, whatever he blends, in my opinion,
He's the goat.
I haven't had anything that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I said Drew Estate, and then I guess really if I had to go down to brass tacks, I mean it's hard. It's like I'm sorry everybody else, but Foundation. Nick Melillo. Are you into his?
Yes, I think
'Cause-
Brian just brought in a couple.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? Because the Highclere Castle, I'm hooked on that. But I mean, almost every single thing he does.
I'll have to go take a look with him in the humidor.
Yeah.
We'll check after this.
Yeah, because the Joe Rogan. Have you ever had like the Tabernacle?
Yes, the Tabernacle's here.
Oh, okay. Because I believe the original. Because I know Nick blended something else for Joe. Like I say it like I know him. Joe.
Hey, Joe, me and Joe were hanging out the other day, and
But the original JRE stick that he put out a few years back, I think they say that's the closest blend because you can't buy the Joe Rogan. You
Right.
couldn't even then when it dropped. It was just he did that for him.
right.
You know, the Tabernacle is supposed to be the closest to that blend, and I think I've smoked almost every.
Have you tried the different Tabernacles? Because I know they have the $70 one in there. That goes. All of the proceeds of that go directly. Oh, I want to get this right.
for the for the cleft palate? Because I know he's got some nice.
No, I know
He
there
raises
is a-
money for some good stuff.
Yes. But all of that is donated to charity for a specific country that they take the tobacco out of.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Ethiopia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, Nick does. I mean, Nick, he's another one. If you know his history, I'm sure if you're a cigar lover out there,
Yes.
you probably, if you haven't heard of him, definitely do a deeper dive because basically since he was born, it's his cigars are his life.
Yes.
I mean, his grandpa smoked them, this and that. So Foundation.
Foundation
Yeah.
Cigars. Bring a foundation.
Yeah.
All right. What is the strangest food and or drink that you've paired with a cigar?
That's a wild question. A strangest thing. Yeah, anything really.
Okay.
Because here's like unpack that backwards. I'll have the cigar. Let's say I'm
Right.
at an out because also this would have to be either here because you guys have the food events because I don't smoke in my house.
Right.
So what I'm eating is at a cigar event.
Right.
Right. So sometimes I'll be eating something that I might think, or let's say like for a cannoli.
Yeah.
Or something, or it might not be pairable with a cigar, but I'm
Right.
at an event. I'm doing, or there's like food vendors,
Right,
and I'm
right,
trying different tacos with different, all different types of food. Not just a typical taco, but those
Right.
infused ones with
Oh yeah.
fun stuff you never heard of, or like these fun desserts. And I would think in my head, I'm there at the event,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, I don't think this is gonna go together. But I do it because you're there, you're
Why not?
hungry,
Exactly.
you're sampling table to table vendors.
Right,
So I've done it. And did I like it? I'd have to say it wasn't too bad because here's my answer. I love the cigar so much that if I'm eating a bad food, let's say,
Yes.
that doesn't really pair with a cigar, I've just paired it and I've just made it pairable. So I just power through it. I do because if you keep enough puffs,
Yes,
you start the
yes.
flavor gets on your tongue from the cigar and you wash away like whatever
Yes.
it is, the cannoli or whatever.
You're basically you're cleansing your palate
Yeah.
just a completely different way
Yeah,
than it
because I
did.
have had or some type of fruity,
Yes,
maybe almost
yes.
like a kid drink
Oh,
and then
like a blue drink from Stewart's or something, right? Like,
yeah, and I'm like, this isn't going with a cigar, but I'm doing it. I'm gonna power through. So, how about you? Has that happened to you?
Yes, absolutely, and specifically at cigar events. Usually at cookouts too now. Like if I go to a barbecue or something or hanging out with somebody, and I'm like, yeah, I want a hot dog, but I'm smoking a cigar. Let's try it, and I eat. I'm like, oh god, this is terrible. This is the worst idea ever. Don't do that. Hot dogs and cigars do not go well together. I don't care what they tell you.
Yeah.
That's been the worst one for me. What's your favorite memory with a cigar?
He's got some good questions. You're gonna get me choked up. I'd have to say, when I was little, Uncle Philly, he would. I just have this burnt in my brain memory, and also the smell. You know, when you're somewhere, if you're in the food store, maybe someone has a cologne, and you get that smell memory. Isn't that wild? And you could remember when you were like 8 years old, just like you're shopping for cereal and this. So. For me, it's Uncle Philly. He was always chewing on a cigar, and I'd be, under him with getting the ash on me. He'd be shucking clams at a family picnic there, and he always I just always remember him with chewing on a cigar. So that to me is, because it's a family thing, is a fond memory, and I always loved the smell. And whenever before I smoked cigars myself, it took me a while to do it. Because actually, in the beginning, and I don't want to repeat myself because I did probably tell this story many times, but just really quickly, when I first was finally an adult and was like, yeah, I'm in a cigar fire pit circle with friends, passing cigar, this and that, celebratory at a wedding. I'm like, let me try that, and I didn't really. I did it. I inhaled it too quick. It hit the back of my throat. And I was like, so then I was like, maybe I'm not gonna smoke cigars. I'm gonna just smell someone else's and think that smells so good. So anyhow, and it always each time would remind me of Uncle Philly. So that's that.
Thank you, Uncle Philly, by the way, for promoting this. Now, you say he's an old Italian, so was he chewing on those Italian cigars, the ones with the spit ends where you don't even smoke them? You just chew on the ends of them? They have like a licorice taste to them?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what he had.
Okay.
Because he's in heaven. And I was a young girl, and then, I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because I know a lot of old Italians, and I'm Italian myself, so I've seen them where they'll just grab that cigar, and it comes in this weird almost comes like a licorice box, and they'll pull them out and they just and chew on them, and they just get that licorice flavor.
I think
in the back of
those
their
are
tongue.
called Toscanos or something.
Toscanos. That sounds right.
But
sounds right. We'll have to.
I think whatever shop he was probably closest to in Brooklyn at the time, because they're from Henry Street and Baltic Street over there off of Atlantic Avenue.
Okay.
In Brooklyn. I mean, this is going back. I mean, his brother was my grandpa. My grandpa. He would have been 100. So we're talking, we're talking when I was a little girl. But because, my father does not smoke cigars. So once Uncle Philly and his other, my cousin, I have a lot of cousins that I don't really see anymore. That after at a family picnic, if, they would play casino and they would all light up. But I never knew the brands because I never,
Right. Yeah. And again, people... Back in that time, it wasn't during the boom. Right?
It wasn't.
It was a time where people, who smoked cigars were, or people just picked up a cigar because they thought, it had a aesthetic to it, right? Or just looked a certain way. They don't care what the brand is.
Or mob. Look at the mob.
Stay away from them. Stop playing with them.
Well, once the Godfather movie came out, I think my family was like, paisan, get me, somebody get
Everybody
me a cigar.
started speaking Italian that never knew it. You get these English accents, you're like, okay. If you could make a cigar based on your personality, what would its name be, and what kind of flavor profile would it have?
Oh, goodness me. I need time to think about this. Jump, drive, and whale?
Jump, drive, and whale.
I have a lot of, I like to dance.
Okay.
I love music. El Musica? I don't know. That's a good, I'd have to think about that.
We'll think about that. We'll come back to that one. All right. 2 more questions. Fun questions still. Short form content. How do you pump out so much content?
You're asking me?
Yes, I have to know.
I think it's just the luck of the lightning. It's just God. No,
Yes. Yeah.
no, because thank you for saying that, because I feel like there's, for everything I post, I want to post 4 more things.
Right,
Like I have some stuff sitting in the queue. I have a lot of ideas.
Right.
I'll email myself. I have the podcast email,
Right.
my DJ email, my personal, right? So we all probably have a lot of Gmail accounts these
yeah,
days.
yeah,
So I'll take from my Gmail, I'll go, oh my goodness. And I just start like
Right.
typing to my podcast, and I'm like, idea,
Right.
because I don't know, it's just like a dream. It just pops into my head.
Right.
I do have a lot of like fun shorts that I want to do, and cigars. Don't take it, but you could take it from A to Z. I don't know if someone's already done it, but I already wrote down the whole
Yeah.
script of it.
Okay.
But I haven't done it yet. So when you say, how do I put out so much content, I don't know, because I feel like I'm not doing enough.
I think that's the best part. I think, again, you are pumping out a lot of content, and it's great content. It's not like you're sacrificing the meat of the content or the actual meaning behind the content for just like, I need to have this out, right? You're coming up with these ideas, you care about them deeply, and then you actually make it. Then you edit it, and you post it, and you work, and you have 2 kids, and it's like we all have the same 24 hours in the day. How?
I think I sleep. I need more sleep.
Okay.
But I will say, Rick Beto, he has a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And if you love music or if you play an instrument, please check it out. Which, even if you don't, I mean, most of us do love music. You know, have you ever met anyone, as a DJ, I've talked to many people over the last 30 years about music specifically, but have you ever run into someone and they say, and you're like, oh, what's your favorite band or this? I don't know. They say, I don't know. I've met those people.
Right.
Have you ever met those?
Yes.
And I'm literally like shocked. But anyhow, I was going to say, we all probably love music.
Yes.
Check out Rick Beto,
Rick Beto.
Beato. He said something on his YouTube channel that resonated with me
Okay.
for mine, and he said, listen, don't get tripped up on this posting 4 times a day, or I'm dropping my podcast every Thursday. Okay, you could say that, but life could get in the way.
Right.
Life will get in the way. It's gotten in the way for me. I have a family, but like,
Right.
he goes, I post when I can. If I post on a Monday, or if I post 7 days a week that week, but then I can't post again for another week,
Right.
I don't get hung. He doesn't get tripped up on that, and I took that as like, ooh, I could relax, because I was getting like anxious. And once I heard him say that, I was like, why didn't I think of that myself? But then I also kind of thought like, thank you, and I was like, okay, well, because that's why I said I have some stuff in the queue.
Right.
Waiting to be edited and
Okay.
chopped up and uploaded.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to get to it when I get to it.
Right.
I'm not going to make myself crazy. I'm in this for the long haul.
Yes.
I'm in this actually not really for fame, so to speak, that, for lack of a better word.
Right.
I'm in it for the cigar community and the
Yes.
camaraderie, and how like I met you, and
Yes.
how I'm even blessed to be here right now. Like, I just love when I go into a lounge, and like I said, it's like cheers.
Yes.
And for me, I grew up, my grandma is one of 8. My grandpa, he's got many, many siblings, So that kind of, I think my mom has like 34 first cousins. So I was blessed enough that when I was young, like, up until, I don't know, maybe in my early 20s, because, a lot of people are in heaven now,
Right.
my memories of. But we would go to a family reunion, and there'd be like 70 people there, and they were literally like basically first cousins of my parents. And I was just looking back, I think, wow. So what I mean by that is, why I'm saying that is, I'm used to having a lot of people around me,
Yeah.
and I kind of don't have that right now, like in my family.
Right.
I have a sister and a brother, but like, and we still try to have like a reunion. with who's left.
Right.
But honestly, people have moved across the country, so it's dwindled down to sometimes we only could get like 6 people together.
Right.
And in my deepest of hearts, I kind of like miss, like, it sounds corny maybe, but like when you are 12 and there's literally a pool party in your grandma's backyard with like 50 of your blood relatives just hugging on you.
Yes.
I try not to get
Right.
upset today because it's like you can't have that forever. But it's in my strong memory.
Yes.
So that's why the cigar for me also, not only with the flavor of it, but I'm going to be very honest with you, just coming to the lounge and having that bond, because people that smoke cigars, and this is the truth, wherever you are, in their backyard smoking the cigar, in this lounge, they become like family.
Yes.
I found that to be true every time.
Yes.
And it warms my heart.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting like,
No, I love it.
I feel like I'm
No,
flubbing up
that's-
on my,
Oh.
because actually that's why I'm DJ Dolce.
Okay.
Because my parents, they're divorced, but, we're still all close. But because of that, I lived with my grandparents at one point for quite some time because of that displacement. And my grandpa always used to say to her, my dolce, like, and when I was young, I remember saying, like, what does that mean? Why is he calling you that, Your name is, oh, is that going to be on the thing?
Huh? Yeah, let's
Oh.
wait.
Fire trucks.
Good. All right.
I would always kind of, like, be inquisitive and be like, your name's Mary. Why is he calling you Dolce? And he's like, she knows what I mean. It's my sweetheart, with their accent. And so I said, you know what? DJ Dolce has a ring to it, DD. So that's a nod to my family.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And you hit the nail right on the head there. People who smoke cigars with you in a lounge are your family. They become your family. It takes a certain kind of person to actually sit down and smoke a cigar all the way through and have a conversation with you, right? Like, you really get to know the person over that hour or hour and a half that you sit down with them, which is a very strange thing in today's time where a lot of people have 5-second interactions, I like to call them, right? Where you're invested in someone's life so much for 5 seconds, and then you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and you go to the next one. But cigars remind you of not only, I don't want to make this as dark as possible, but they remind you of your humanity, right? They remind you that, hey, there's people around me in my community. There's people around me in this area that do have stories. They do have things I resonate with and connect with, and, we can come together as people again.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we really lost over the last 50 years, just in general.
Yeah, I hear people say the cigar is a great equalizer, and they couldn't have said it better.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a good one. Now, we're going to end up here, on my section at least. For all the questions I have, I always ask one final question.
All right.
If you could smoke a cigar with one person, alive or gone, one more time, or ever, who would it be and why?
Well, am I allowed to know what your answer is? Because you've said it on the podcast before. Is that?
I've never given an answer.
Oh, you don't give an answer?
No, I've never given an answer. This is always a question I give you.
Oh, I know,
give
but
the guest.
you're not. I'm not allowed to bounce off you.
You can.
Is
You
it like a
absolutely
top secret? I say that because there's a tie of people, and I wanted to know which direction to go.
You can go any way you want. This is your answer.
I had to say, okay, I'll say Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. Okay. Why is that?
Now, I've found. Do you know that there's recent controversy for
In
him?
what sense?
Well, when his books were written, it has certain language in it.
Oh, yeah, it's the time.
Right, but it's
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
time. But you know what's funny? I feel like the argument that people made, they don't know why he used those certain words. Because if you know the history of Mark Twain, he was doing it to, he's a supporter.
Right.
So anyhow, I mean, because I know a lot about Mark Twain. I love Mark Twain. I have his autobiography. But the thing with him is in his writer's shed, I think it was called, he just called it the shed. he basically smoked from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed because he couldn't really. I mean, he could write, but he couldn't, like, for lack of a better word, just to kind of, simplify.
Right.
He wrote more and better, I'll say, with a cigar.
Okay.
And so I say him because he has the American classics.
Right.
And when I was a little girl, I was kind of a tomboy, and
Okay.
I used to play Huck Finn,
Okay.
like Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Like I used to pretend I would like swing on the rope on the tree and
Yep.
be Tom Sawyer on in the riverbank. So
Right.
that mixed with the fact that he's an author, American classic author, and that he smokes cigars every second.
Yeah.
I pick Mark Twain. But there's a Mark Twain cigar.
Really?
It's called the Memoir, and I think there's 2 others, but I can't remember right now.
Now, are they paying homage to the tobacco that he would have used and kind of the area that he would have gotten it from, or are they like ties to the family? I always get a little hesitant when it comes to those kinds of things because I see it as business 1st and kind of just like
Like a name, throwing the name on it for
kind of just
for
using
staff.
the name for a cigar that you didn't really have anything going on with, that you're not really proud of. So you're like, well, I need to sell it, so let me put this guy's name on it. He can't fight me, so let's go. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd have to look into that actually, because it's kind of a little bit of a mystery of who puts that out. Tell you the truth.
Okay.
But there's the Mark Twain, one of his homes in Connecticut.
Okay.
It's like the Mark Twain Museum.
Really? Okay.
But he's lived all over. I think he lived in Italy with his family at one point too. So anyhow, that's just my.
Okay.
Can I say my secret second one?
Yes,
Because
who's your
there's a
secret
tie. There's a tie for quite a few people, but I don't know if this is obvious or who. I need to know who you'd pick. Winston Churchill,
Winston Churchill.
because I love
Okay.
that they named the long
Yes,
cigar
the Churchill cigars.
after him, because he always was chewing on one 7 inches coming out of his mouth. He's another one every 2 seconds.
Yes.
I mean, so yeah, but they didn't. I don't know. I think it's wild. Yeah, I mean the story of Mark Twain. If you really do like a deep dive, because he was like, I think he was like 8 when he. I don't know the state he was born in right now off the top of my head, but I think he was by a cigar factory. Because in America, I'm sure you know this. We had a lot of cigar factories in this
Yes.
country
Yes.
that were like flourishing.
Yes.
So he lived by one, and he said he would find like half smoked ones on the ground,
Wow.
and he'd pick them up as like a little boy and smoke them.
We are not promoting that, but
right.
But back in
We're
the
talking
days,
the 1800s.
Yeah, I think you can handle that in the 1800s.
Nobody
There's
probably
a lot of
even
other
did.
things going on. That's not your biggest concern. But wow, no, I wasn't aware of that. No, thank you. See, this is why I love to meet new people. They always give me new information and things like that, little pieces that I can always touch on later on.
Cool.
And I honestly, if I have to, I really thought you were going to go a completely different way with that answer, but I'm glad you went the way you did.
What? Someone tell me. Are you allowed to?
I thought you were going to go with your uncle.
Yeah. To have a cigar with?
Yes.
No, because you know what's funny? I have just the memory more of him above me. I'm very little, and so I don't know what year actually he passed away, tell you the truth. Because he was my great uncle.
Okay. Yes.
So, sorry. to
Because you did
clarify.
say your grandfather's
Yeah, no.
brother a couple of times. and
I
was like,
do, yeah. No,
not
I'm
sure
sorry.
how
It was
that
my
works.
great uncle, and
Okay.
I definitely know when I was 6, 7, and 8, it's a strong memory
Yes.
of when I was very little. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I guess.
No, you don't have to pick.
No,
I'm
you
not
know what?
trying
Now
to
I
put
feel
that
bad.
on you. I'm just.
You know
I'm
what?
just
That's wild. That
understanding
was
a little
never
bit
in
more.
my mind. Maybe because also the way we were raised, it was kind of like, kids get it. Kids
Yeah,
were
yeah.
supposed to be seen and not heard back then.
That's it.
So I think I have a separation of hanging out with him because we were told to scat.
Right.
Wait, that's not the right
on,
word,
get.
is it? Go on, get. Yeah. I mean, come on. It was a different time.
Yes,
So it's not in my.
absolutely.
But hey.
Yeah.
See, now I feel bad. You put that on my mind.
No.
I never thought
Don't
of it.
feel bad at all.
Isn't that wild?
Do you have anything on your side?
Oh, to ask you?
Yes.
Well, how much time do we have?
You have as much time as you'd like.
Well, I was going to kind of ask you that. What type of childhood memory? Oh no, I was gonna ask you. Do you smoke cigars more because it was like you and your friends? You were a little bit like they introduced you to to chill with your friends, maybe in college, this or that, or do you also have a childhood memory of someone in your family, or maybe like you smelled like a neighbor's pipe and you're like, oh, I like that.
So I actually started smoking cigars because of that video that we spoke
When you
about
were 8?
earlier. Yeah, but back then, all the way back when.
Oh, well, of Dry Creek.
Yes.
Wow.
That is what got me started, because at the time, my girlfriend at the time had bought me a cigar, and she's like, well, try it out. And I was like, okay, sure. So I smoked that, and I was like, whoa. And I can remember exactly what it was, and I won't put their brand on blast, but I hated it. It was it's one of those, I'll tell you.
Well, you
I
can tell me
wasn't a big
off
fan of it
camera.
at the time. I have since gone back and smoked it.
Oh.
It is a better cigar than I can remember back then, because, again, it's a full-bodied cigar, and I was a brand new cigar smoker. And I was also inhaling cigars. So
Were you really?
Yes. Well, that was the first one that I had tried. So that was the Lunatic. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I love
the Lunatic.
I love the Lunatic, but I love
Very
it.
large, very thick cigar.
Thick, but
Oh, yeah.
but I see now the flavor and the
Great
aroma
flavor.
on that. I love.
Great
Now,
flavor.
what threw you off at first? Oh, well, you inhaled it.
I inhaled it.
Did it make you green?
Oh, yeah. No, I was cigar sick for the rest of the night.
Oh no!
And I didn't know how to get rid of it back then.
Oh,
so
no.
Me being me, if I make a mistake with something, I'm always going to, or if I see something that I'm doing wrong, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to be like, well, how can I make it better? So I went to that video, I watched that video, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm in. I need to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
So I went out. There's a cigar shop around here that I don't go to anymore, but I went there a couple of times, grabbed some sticks, started trying things out, and I was like, I don't really get it. I came here one day, and Angie was behind the counter. And let me tell you, this woman walked me around the store, sat down with me, talked to me, said, do you want to smoke in here? And I didn't know that was a thing. Like, coming from my world, you don't smoke indoors.
Yeah, yep.
Like, you don't do that. So,
Yeah.
like, she was like, yeah, you can smoke in here. I was like, that's kind of weird. Do people do that? She's like, look around. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of people. I didn't even notice it.
Wow.
So I'm sitting down with her, and she's like, here, try this out. How do you like it? How does it taste? I'm like, this is really good. And I left, and I didn't come back for about a year. And then a year later, I come in, I'm sitting down, I'm reading a book. I was like, I just want to relax, smoke a cigar. Rick comes over. And Rick, if you've ever met Rick for the first time, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. Energy out of this room.
All in. He's all in.
He's all in all the time. I was reading a book, and he's just like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? He just comes in, sits down. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And I'm like,
the owner.
yeah. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I thought he's just some crazy guy. Just coming to sit down with me. Like, okay. And then he's like, yeah, no, this is my place. I was like, oh, okay, all right, let's talk about it. He's like, so how you liking it? What do you do? And then we went going back and forth, and he's like, come in tomorrow, we'll talk.
Yeah.
So I come in the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I'm like, okay, all right.
Cool.
And I started learning more and more, and then I met Brian.
Oh, forget it. Full education.
It's I understand now, well, 2 years later, how lucky I am to have somebody like Brian, who from the beginning said, this is what you learn. This is how you learn it. These are the things you need to care about in a cigar. These are the things that make a cigar. So that's really how my journey started with cigars. But I do have a very fond memory of my foster father. He lit up a cigar inside of his truck at the time, and I just remember the smell. And I think he smoked flavored cigars because it was such a strong vanilla scent, and I just loved that scent.
About how old do you think you would have been?
Ooh, I had to be maybe like 9-ish.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, it's funny how the memory works.
Yes.
Cool.
What else you got?
I think I'm good for right now.
All
Pleased
set?
to be here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for coming to the podcast. I am so happy to have you. I mean, we're so happy to have you here at the Castle. You're always welcome at the Castle anytime. We are going to get united. That is going to happen. So we're going to make sure
that's
you're
so cool.
official knight of the Castle now going forward. But again, thank you, Angela. Where can the people find you?
On all my social, I will. Do you put the tags up
Yep,
here?
I'll put it on the
Instagram. I'm Puros _music _podcast. Kind of simple. I think you can find me. And if you just type in Authentically Angela on YouTube, I should come right up.
Yes,
And you can watch and listen on Spotify.
absolutely. Yes. And for your podcast, since this is going on yours as well, you can find us at Cigars at the Castle on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, and Instagram. And also check out our website, cigarsatthecastle.com.
That's the man right there, Mufasa.
Thank you.
Castle Cigars. Thank you for having me. And this is what I like to say to my people out there. I like to say, we'll see you next time. So say that with me. We'll edit it.
Hold on.
1, 2, 3. We'll see you next time.
I like that.
Another one.
There it is. Got it. Oh, yeah. There it is. Got it.
Honduras.